What's up, fellas? I can't hear you guys if you're chatting back. I think you guys are on mute. So there you go.
I forgot I said that. I was like, what the hell is that? Shut off your phone, dude. So yeah, I was on mute, but I just introduced you to everybody.
Nice.
Darren, Corey, Brian, Terry, that's Colin. So
Nice to meet
yeah,
you
we're
guys.
a little bit early. I got a couple more people with you jumping on Zoom that couldn't come in. You're down in Utah County, right?
Yeah, Mountain Eagle Mountain.
Yeah, so I got Josh up in Park City and Jeff Bitten should be jumping on. You know Jeff, Colin.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Yeah. 546.
What's that, Jeff?
No.
Good right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
How do I know Jeff?
Pitch 59. He's CEO of Pitch 59.
Like, why is that name?
He just got back in town this morning. He was out of town, and I wanted him to come up in person, just go. We could visit afterwards and stuff. But he said to jump on Zoom. All good. There's some plates out, Corey.
Was there little nipples there?
Yeah. Lynn did our
Just going on.
Costco run, and I said, grab me some snackies.
Nice.
Yeah. I debated on like having full on dinner, bringing Mo Bettas or something like that, but didn't know how many people were gonna be able to come. There's cold drinks in the fridge too, if you want something cold. I always have to leave out room temperature water too.
For me, in case I show up.
Yeah, well, for Lynn.
Lynn does also?
Oh yeah, she won't drink cold. Josh, how are you, man?
I'm great. How are you, Jeff?
That's fantastic. We're just sitting here shooting the shit, waiting to get started here.
Oh, I recognize that guy. Be careful, guys. He doesn't.
Josh, it's about bedtime for you. If you get up at 3.
You know that's why he's not here. He
It-
says, dude, I won't have enough time to drive back home and get in bed by 7:30 because I get up at 3:30. I literally, dude, I showed that to Lynn, I showed it to somebody else, and it's like, that's a guy that sticks to his fucking schedule. I would have said,
Yeah.
tonight I can do an extra hour or whatever, but that's the difference between Josh and I.
I appreciate you being so kind about my weirdness, but it just works for me, and so I do everything I can to stay on that schedule.
I haven't known anything but your weirdness.
I know you're used to it by now.
Yeah, what is it, 20 years probably? And it seems like it.
Check this out, dude. Check this out. This is my wedding picture from 2005.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful couple there on the end. That's Jeff and Lynn. Yeah,
Um,
19 years.
You weren't even wearing a black shirt.
That's crazy, right? Well,
Who was that guy?
beach attire can be different though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
But
go.
he did have
Fine,
shorts
brother.
on and no shoes, guys.
We landscaped together for a lot of.
Yeah.
White. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, work shirt,
White
yeah.
work shirt.
It's all
At
black.
EXPCon this year down in Vegas, he had a white shirt on, which was kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do that
so
just
they
to fuck
gotta
with
wear
people
white.
sometimes. What have you done with Jeff? Say hi to.
Let me get all my
Yeah.
spread out of
So
the
y'all.
way.
that's Darren. I don't know if you met Darren.
Nice to meet you, Darren.
Corey Lewis,
you.
and then you know
Corey?
that character right there from ITS.
What's going on, Brion? Oh, good to see
Super
y'all.
cool.
You sharp, we cleaned up. the
Just a
lane.
couple more people are gonna show up.
Yeah.
10 till.
Cleared the smoke out.
Oh, who's that little cutie, Colin? Who's that? Oh,
That's
he's
my
such
no, you're good. This is my littlest of the three. So she's her name's Aubrey.
Hi,
So-
Aubrey.
Yeah, I got three littles, 6, 4, and 2, and she's the baby of them. So she always likes eating dinner with daddy.
Oh, she's adorable.
Huh.
It's my grandbaby's age. So fun. Your little business partner tonight. That's cool.
Yep.
Well, thanks for carving out some time, guys. Dane should be showing up here shortly. Oh, that reminds me, Josh, I'm gonna let you got your few slides you want to share. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I've disabled.
Yep. Well, let me introduce you and Dane first, and then you can. Oh, whoops! I didn't want to share. I want to enable share. There you go. Then, but I'll have you share yours first, and then
Perfect, it's working.
there you go. Yeah. So cool. So Josh, you got any rentals in Park City? We were just talking to Terry about his Airbnb up there. You got anything in Park City?
We have a fractional ownership where we own an eighth of a big condo, which has probably been the worst investment of my entire life. So I won't give you any.
Sorry to bring up the pain.
Yeah. It's been in lawsuits since the day.
awesome.
Oh my gosh, it's been literally in lawsuits since 2010. I'm not lying. 14 years.
What?
It's insane. So it's been a rough one. But no, besides that, I don't have anything in Park City. How's yours?
And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yep. One's enough for me. I can't afford any more Park City investment properties.
I was just curious. We were talking to Terry about his Park City Airbnb and starting the construction at 4%, closing at 7.75.
7.5, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh has got, Josh
Yeah,
did the.
did Ben do it?
And
Kyle?
Yeah, Ben Cobb.
Yeah, Ben Kyle.
well, hopefully those rates go down this year, Terry, and you can restructure that thing.
Yeah, that would help.
How is it renting?
The occupancy is solid. The rate per night is way less than what we thought we'd get out of it. The rental rate per night.
Yep.
So, we thought we'd get 500 plus a night based on, just data that we collected and appraisers information, all that kind of stuff. And we're getting about 360-ish.
Got it.
And yeah, so.
And
So
how's your summer occupancy? Has it been okay?
It's, well, you know what, I should take that back. The summer occupancy is actually kind of low. The winter, the 4 months in winter, December, January, February, March, are probably up in the 85%. Summer's low. The average on the places for the year were about 53%. So I take that back. The occupancy isn't really that great for 12 months, but it is good for 4 months. But the average nightly rent rate, 360 versus 500 plus is it kills us.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about, Josh, is just, why is that? And I've looked at it and tried to figure it out, but I just think that the competition up there's so many places that you're competing with for rent that, you can't push the rates that you want because there's 20 other ones on the market that are just as nice as yours and a good location, and they're $100 a night cheaper,
I think a lot of people have gotten into nightly rentals over the last couple of years, and it's just in some areas like Park City hit critical mass to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I do have a LO in our office who's a really good buddy of mine, an investor friend of mine, and what he does with he owns one right at the canyons, and he does nightly rentals in the winter, and then blocks off the nightly rentals through the shoulder seasons in the summer. And he does midterm rentals. So he does 30 days to 9 months. And he says he's had some success with that. He had 2 different long-term renters over the shoulder season and summer that did midterm. And he said he netted way more on that than he did nightly rentals. And then he keeps the winter open for nightly. So I don't know if you're open to experimenting, that might be something to try.
Yeah, we were literally talking about that just before you came on, and in theory, it's a good model. The challenge is, you know, the timing of when you can get those dates filled on the calendar, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you get somebody who will take, March, April and May, you do
Yeah.
real well. If you can get a 3-month midterm over some kind of period like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even, do you even have something on your ad that says, discounts available for longer term rentals?
yeah, you know, that might be something we do is just, I don't know if my property manager would be all up for this, but you know, you market it that way, and if you get somebody that takes it, you know, you do a midterm rental like you're talking about. Of course, the property manager, I'd have to do some kind of a deal with them where they wouldn't get paid as much, right? Because
Yeah.
they're not doing short-term rental. But to your point, if it comes back online in December or November as a STR, then they get the business, the property manager gets the business then, so. Maybe I could work some kind of a deal out with them where it's like, what's fair for both of us here if we did it this way?
I think that's smart. It's worth an ask. And maybe they have other customers who are doing it. They can give you advice. How much do you like your property manager? That's the other question.
I mean, I think, again, we talked about that, you know, one option is fire the property manager, try somebody else, and I haven't done that yet, but they seem to do a fairly good job. I can't say that she's got another property in Sandy of mine, absolutely kills, it's a great property, it's fantastic, and it has for 2 years. So she does a great job on that one. I don't know if it's her, they all do a great job, but again, I think it might be the market and the competitiveness of the market as opposed to the PM, but again, I don't know, I haven't experimented and made a change to figure that out.
Remind me your email address, Terry?
Terry L. Morrison. So first name, middle initial, last name at Gmail. Did you hear that?
Yep, I got it. Terry L. Morrison.
Terry L. Morrison at gmail.com.
Yep, I got it. I'm gonna introduce you to my buddy, Drake, who has that nightly rental and then he does short term in Park City. Maybe it's worth just having a phone call with his management company, because he's told me several times he really loves the.
Yes, I'll shoot me that referral.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, I'm gonna.
I'll text you.
Long time no see. Santa I've got grandkids, gonna hire you.
Harper have any kids yet?
Did you what?
Harper have any kids yet?
No, he just got married in.
That's right.
He's coming up on his year anniversary.
There's more, I think they're working.
Trying to get
We're gonna get started on time, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll get a couple popped down.
So, I don't know, is that is it twice per week? Mine's the same.
Yeah, so copy and paste that, you can send it to them.
Got
Got
his wife, she took my workhorse away from me.
2 more people on Zoom,
She keeps
but
my-
like I said, let's just give it a couple more minutes.
Yeah,
we're good. Then I'll introduce you guys.
He's be bored, let's call him up to Parker, need your help, and that I could.
Josh, Colin,
That's great.
this is Dane.
What's going on,
Dave.
guys? It's Tyler over here.
This is Tyler.
Great to meet
Good.
you.
The one and only Eric Jones.
Hey, what's up, you rock? See you, buddy.
And his son Riker.
Hey, Riker.
And I don't know if I introduced you, Josh, but that's Darren,
Darren.
and Corey and Brian and Terry and the boss. The boss, yeah. I wonder if I can do this.
Are these guys on the Zoom or
They're on
is this, are these Utah people too?
Yep, Colin's down, Utah County, Josh goes to Park City. Yeah. I was teasing Josh because he wouldn't come down here because he couldn't get home to get in bed by 7:30. Because he gets up at 3:30. Yeah, you cringe just like most people. It's like, what? That's 8 hours? It's just, everybody has a sliding scale.
The Mark Wahlberg, 3 o'clock workout type of routine.
He'll tire Mark Wahlberg out.
Yes.
Oh, and that's Brent. I forgot Brent. Brent's in the back.
So.
You grabbing a snack? You guys, it's not dinner, but there's some snacks over there.
What's up?
Josh, I can relate to you. I get up at 2:50, 3 o'clock in the morning. I do not get to bed at 7:30 though. So I'm a 8:30, 9 o'clock type person. I just can't sooner than that.
That's awesome, bro. What do you do at 2:53 in the morning?
Get myself ready to go to the gym so I can lift by 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Nice. Right
Yeah.
on. Right on. That's a ballsy commitment, Colin. I'm impressed.
I've done it for the latter 7 years. So
Right on.
I can see it in Colin's face. He's just happy to have met somebody else.
yeah,
He's
We're
like,
not
I'm
totally
not
psychopath.
alone.
yeah,
We're gonna get along just fine, Colin.
I love it.
Okay, well, I've got one more guy coming in person, 2 more that might jump on Zoom. But did my voice just crack? It's neighbor. Did I hear that right? I don't know what just happened. Okay, so I called or reached out to a bunch of my friends, that I knew had some business acumen and are interested in investing and that kind of stuff, because, you know, we all have some broke ass friends.
Sure.
I don't want their opinion about money. So I didn't call some of my friends. So, I mean, thank you guys for being here, because really what I've done for myself as I'm doing some investigating on diversifying our assets a little bit and doing some reallocation is, I've assembled an advisory council, whether you know it or not, selfishly, right? You guys are here to look at this because I kind of watched Colin go from the real estate space. We're just meeting in person for the first time. But wholesaling, flipping, doing real estate deals. And then on Facebook, I'm seeing crypto. And then I'm seeing he's traveling all over the country and he's teaching on stage about cryptocurrency. Then he's put together some systems and mastermind groups to, you know, we all do better together when we have groups that are doing the same thing. So I'm interested in that. And so I want him to show you what he's doing. There's a lot of people doing crypto, right? It's like, where do you start? This is where I'm starting.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And so, but first, when I started sending you guys out those invites, I sent one to Josh. Josh replied back and he said, could I join you by Zoom? Not the 7:30 thing. We got into that later, but because he had to be in bed by 7:30. But what he said was, I'm not sure who all is invited, but I'd love to share the slides I have around the dollar, inflation, and why I'm bullish on cryptocurrency. So Josh sent me his slide deck. He's not going to do the whole presentation. You guys know Josh, very detail oriented. He does his research, very good in disseminating that research to other people so they can understand it. So he's just got a few slides out of this presentation, which maybe we'll get together again and have him present the entire thing, where he's going to talk a little bit on kind of the topic of the night, right, Josh?
Game on. Let's go. You ready to rock?
Yep. Share your screen and let's see what you got. This should only be what, about 10 minutes, and then we'll get into Colin's presentation.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock it.
Dane.
So just by
Colin's right there. You're good.
right on, just by ways of introduction. So, you know, the last 25 years, I've been a real estate investor and virtually all of my money went into real estate. Over the last 5 years, I've got really interested in cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, because of what I have seen in the devaluation of the dollar. So I'm going to give you the why, and then I think Colin's probably going to give you the how and the what. So I'll give you my why, all right? And this is a broader presentation called Why Inflation Destroys Debt and Makes Investors Rich. You see, if the value of the dollar is being destroyed, then that means the value of the dollar-denominated debt i.e. mortgage, is also getting destroyed over time, which is why you should never pay your mortgage off faster. But let me just run through like a couple of really quick things. And I'm going to skip through this stuff pretty quickly here. But in 1971, President Nixon took us off the gold standard temporarily. And that took the US dollar to a fiat currency. What's a fiat currency? It's a government issued currency that is not backed by a physical commodity, such as gold or silver, but rather by the government that issued it. So long as we can trust the government, then the fiat money should be stable. Unfortunately, there isn't a single government in the history of the world who's gone to a fiat money system that hasn't eventually inflated the dollar or the currency away until they had a cultural collapse. So if you go back to 1971 and you just think a little bit about the cost of living, a new house cost 25 grand. Average income was 10,000 a year. A new car was $3,500. On and on and on and on and on. It's not so much that things were cheap back then, it's that the dollar was strong. And it's not so much that things are expensive now, it's that the dollar is weak. And so I want to get my life's energy, my paycheck, my money out of dollars as quickly as humanly possible and into real assets that are not going to get inflated this way. I'll just give you some perspective. From 1910 to 1970, so over 60 years, you saw 284% cumulative inflation. That's a lot of inflation over 60 years, but look what happened since 1971 when we left the gold standard. We went from 284% cumulative inflation to 2,923% cumulative inflation. This is the value of your dollar being destroyed over the last 50 years. So this is kind of cool. $1 million value in January 1971. Guess how many dollars you need in 2024 to have $1 million to equal $1 million in buying power in 71? Anybody want to throw out a guess?
I know it's a lot more.
Double, triple, quadruple?
No.
Way more than 10.
I like
for
the
sure.
30 million, yeah, I thought it was a good.
Close, 7.7 million. So you need $7.7 million in 2024 to equal $1 million in buying power in 1971. 87% of the US dollar's buying power has been eviscerated over the last 50 years, going back to 1971. What does that tell you? You want to get your money out of US dollar bills as soon as humanly possible. I'll show you a couple real interesting slides. I'm going to fast forward. All right. This is a graph of US house prices going back to 1971. That's the green line. You can see the median price went from 24,000 and now it's up to about 400,000 median price across the country. So that's an increase of 1,543%. Hey, that's a great investment, except that if you look at total money supply, that's the number of dollars circulating around the economy. You know, GDP has only grown at so much. The money supply has exceeded GDP growth. It's just like taking a piece of pizza and cutting it into a bunch of smaller pieces and saying, hey, I now have 50 slices of pizza here. Well, it's still a large pizza, dude. You just sliced it into really small pieces. So if you look at the amount of money supply increase over that period of time, money supply has gone up 3,422%. So if you equate for the fact that you don't have a large piece of pizza anymore, you have a small piece of pizza, that your buying power and your dollar has been obliterated by 87%, US house prices relative to money supply actually went down 54%. No, house prices are not expensive. The US dollar is weak as shit. Let me give you another standard. Let's quit measuring houses in dollars. Let's measure it in gold, okay? So this is house prices since 1953 are up 2,069%. But if we measure it in how many ounces of gold do we need to buy the home versus how many dollars do we need to buy the home, gold is up 5,717%, which means if you look at home values divided by gold, home prices are down 63%. It's not that houses are expensive, it's that the dollar is weak. Let's do it by oil, all right? US home prices since 1953, up 2,069%. Oil's up 2,844%, which means that the price of houses since 1953 is actually down 26%. If you start measuring these things not in fiat currency, but in real assets, in every asset, home prices are down. All right, now I'll look at one more. This is US home prices compared to BTC, and we could Bitcoin. We can only go back to 2019 for these records, but since 2019, US home prices are up 54%. This is median across the country. Eric Jones is like, wait, Salt Lake went up 54% in 2 years. No, this is median across the country. BTC is up 901%. So if you measure the value of a home in Bitcoin rather than dollars, home prices have gone down 85%. So I'll stop my screen share there and just end with this. We think of a dollar as a measuring unit, and most of our measuring units are static. In other words, I'm in a room right now that is about 15 feet wide and about 20 feet long. And if you come back in 100 years, it's going to be 15 feet wide and 20 feet long. It's not going to change. But the value of $100 in 1924 was 10, 15, 20 times greater than the value of $100 in 2024. Did I say that right? The value in 1924 is worth a lot more than the value in 2024. So the dollar is a terrible measuring stick, but we don't think about that because inflation slowly erodes the power, the buying power of that dollar away. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway is the dollar is a dying fiat currency. Now it may remain the reserve currency of the world for a longer period of time, but every fiat currency is getting devalued to shit. So we need to move our life's energy, our money, out of the dollar and into things that will keep up with inflation. Bitcoin, gold, oil, homes, those things will all hold more value than will the dying of the dollar. So for me, when I look at that and I say, and I put that information across all the other reasons why Bitcoin makes sense to me, it is one of those asset classes that I want to have an allocation to. And I'm trying to move my money out of dollars into Bitcoin as soon as humanly possible. And that's it. That's a wrap for me, Jeff.
Thanks, Josh.
9 minutes, by the way.
Oh, perfect. Well, that was perfect to reach out to you and have you have that share, because that's a great lead into why I'm looking into it, because I'm all in on real estate, right? Which is great. It's a great hedge against inflation if I was leveraged better. But yes. I'm not very leveraged. I have a lot of equity, and that's the missing component from my portfolio for that to make sense, is I have too much equity sitting in real estate. And so I want to do some, and Lynn and I are really looking at some other sectors, and this being one of them. So that was a great lead into what Dane's going to be talking about. So Dane, come on up here, give us another introduction of yourself while I try and successfully share the screen with your slides.
That was great, Josh. Usually I don't have a nice tee up. You just threw me a softball and I'll get it out of the park here. That was excellent.
Right on, man. Swing for the fences.
That's right. That's right. This will be good. Cool. So I'll give you guys a little bit of background on me. I've been a real estate investor for almost a decade, and I made millions of dollars. It's been great. $1 million was a lot more, just like Josh showed us decades ago. But I've done all right in real estate. I've done everything that you guys have probably done yourselves. I've done some development, I've done flipping, wholesaling, I built a rental portfolio. Cool. I've done everything, and real estate's been incredibly good to me, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. But man, I was sitting in my office. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. And my wife came to me and she said, you know what, Dane, I want to go. She had a family vacation she wanted to go on. And I said, great, let's do it. But I want to go do a few more deals first. I don't know if you guys have had an experience like that, but I'm like, more deals, more deals, more deals. I love doing deals. I love it. It's fun. But my wife, she's like, you need more hobbies. I'm like, doing business and doing deals is my hobby. I love doing that. And so she looked at me and she said, you know what, Dane, we have the money, but you don't have freedom. And you told me that you built this business for freedom and for finances. And I took a step back and I said, you know what, you're not wrong. There's ways that I could build in more freedom into our life. And so I set off on this grand adventure where I don't know if you guys have ever had an experience where God kind of like nudges you in a certain direction. Real estate was one of those things where he nudged me there. And then I had this next evolution where I feel like I was kind of nudged in the cryptocurrency realm. And this story's bonkers. I'll share how that came to be. So I get that push from my wife. I have some friends that have done incredibly well with cryptocurrency. And I said, you know what, at that point, my team was pretty well running most of what I was doing in real estate. And I said, you know what, I wonder what would happen. I have the availability right now. I could spend a full work week in crypto because my team's pretty well doing all the real estate. Wonder what would happen if I just spent that same amount of time in cryptocurrency. And within just a few short months, I built a crypto portfolio that I put $5,000 into a platform that I was using, and it was turning off passive income. Maybe you guys like passive income too. That's why most people get into real estate, for the hope that one day you'll sit on a beach and the checks will just roll in and you'll live the good life, right? That's what I hope for. It's a lot harder to achieve, like maybe many of you have found. And so I put $5,000 into a crypto platform that I'd done a bunch of research on. It was turning off passive income. My goal was to make $20,000 a month passively in cryptocurrency. So I just worked the math backwards. I needed to put $100,000 total into this platform to turn off 20 grand a month. Can't do that with some real estate, can you? And that was before any appreciation. So I said, let's send it. We'll see what happens. And I was in a position where, that wasn't all of my money that I had as a chunk. So I had a little bit of room to play with. So in a place to put all your money, like me or Tyler, for instance, if you don't want, it's good to start out nice and with little chunks and get your feet wet. But man, I put $100,000 in, and then price went and more than doubled, and I started making $50,000 a month. No tenants, no toilets, no trash. This is truly a build it and leave it alone, and I truly could go sit on a beach while the money just rolled in. It's crazy. Now there's volatility in cryptocurrency, right? Like anything, same as real estate, there's more volatility in crypto. And so over that period, my cash flow went up and down, but over 8 months, I extracted $400,000 on my $100,000 investment. And once again, no tenants, toilets, or trash. It's beautiful. And so, so that was my nudge that, here we go, let's go ahead and figure this thing out. So what I'm going to show you today, and what Tyler will help me talk about as well, is how you can make more passive income than you could ever dream of in any asset class over the next 12 to 18 months and change your life forever if you take advantage of the opportunity right now. I'm telling you, we have lost multiple six figures in the crypto space because it's just part of learning. Maybe you guys have lost some money in real estate. I certainly have, is like you're figuring things out. But once you figure them out, you spend some time, you figure it out, there's a ton of money to make. I'm going to give you all of the things that I wish I would have known when I was first getting started. So hopefully you could avoid some of those losses like we've had. Cool. All right, gave you my story. This is my partner, Corey. Corey, same thing. Corey, funny story about Corey. Corey went and built a 7-figure real estate business drunk and high. It was wild.
That is fun.
Yeah, drunk and high. It's crazy. And Corey will tell you today that real estate saved his life because he was able to get into some of the right rooms, just like one here tonight. He was able to meet the right people, to get his head in the right place, to be able to straighten his life out. Now Corey lives on the beach with me in Puerto Rico. I moved there in a week. So you don't pay any taxes on your money, which is a beautiful thing. And has a little beautiful family and is a multimillionaire in crypto, which is awesome. Anybody recognize Bob here? Robert Allen? No Money Down. He's New York Times bestseller, the whole thing. So we were speaking at an event in Texas a little over a year ago, and Bob approached us after we spoke. He said, you know what, Dane, I missed Bitcoin and I missed Ethereum, but everything's going digital, including money. And I'm not going to miss crypto, and I want to do it with you guys because you guys have a system and you have data to be able to actually attack this in a sophisticated way, same as you would with real estate. And so Bob has been able to come in at the ripe old age of about 75 and really master the space. He brought his son along, which is really cool. And they're, once again, not betting everything in crypto like me and largely Tyler have, because we understand this space, but just taking a portion of and putting his money in, because once again, all the money's going digital and the dollar's getting destroyed. You have to find ways to outpace inflation, and preferably not just outpace it, but absolutely dominate it. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, passive income as a whole is largely a lie. It's really difficult to build systems where passive income can just roll in while you sit on a beach. Now, nobody has the dream of making millions of dollars and being stuck in an office all day, right? Nobody's gonna get to the end of their life and think, man, I wish I would have worked more. Nobody, right? But you're gonna get there and you're gonna think about the experiences that you wish you had, the time you spent with your friends and family, the memories that you could have created. And so if you're making a lot of money but have no freedom, what good is it really? So we need to find ways to have freedom and money. All right, so if you take anything away from what I tell you today, this is it right here. I'm going to show you the next 2 slides. I want this to stick in your brain like glue, because I think this is one of the most important things that almost everybody misses when it comes to cryptocurrency. You can buy crypto forever and just leave it alone if you want. I think it's can be a great hedge against inflation. But crypto works on 4-year cycles. We all know that real estate works on cycles, right? The stock market does too. I think an average real estate cycle is usually anywhere from like 8 to 15 years. And then you have a correction, right? And then we rinse and repeat. With crypto, it's 4. And it happens like clockwork, at least thus far. It happens like clockwork, and it's based upon this term called the Bitcoin halving, all right? Anybody heard the term Bitcoin halving? Anybody familiar with that?
I heard it from you. That's the
Okay,
first time.
perfect, okay. So I'm gonna give you a huge oversimplification here, where essentially all the Bitcoin halving is it's something built into the Bitcoin code, where roughly every 4 years, it makes it so that the people that are mining Bitcoin, their rewards get cut in half. So that's literally like your rent every 4 years that you get as a landlord getting cut in half, and you getting half as many. The beautiful thing about Bitcoin is even though the rewards get cut in half, during the next 12 to 18 months following that time frame, prices go parabolic. Literally, if you would have been early to Bitcoin and you would have held for the last 15 years or so, you could have turned $1 into $6.9 million from $1 in a period of 15 years. There is no place where you can make more money than you can in crypto. Something like the world has never seen ever. It's the highest appreciating asset, period. And so if you're like me and you're like Tyler and you like to make money, once again, a little bit of diversification and wrapping your head around the space, it's a must. You have to figure this out. All right, 4 years. The time frame where everybody wants to be in to make a bunch of money, it only lasts for 12 to 18 months. That's it. Here's the data. You can go back and look yourself. You pull up the Bitcoin chart. 12 to 18 months and then the game is up, and then everything dips 70 to 99%, everything, all right? So I promise when you see me and you see Tyler and you see other people from our community posting on social media, buying cool stuff, that's not your key to get into the market, because we just got out to buy all that cool stuff. That is your cue to sell. There will be signs. You will see them on my social media because I'll have a bunch of cool stuff. I would welcome you to sell at that time because that's what I've been doing, right? And everyone does that backwards because, you know, like you think about it, something like real estate, where if I was going to flip a house and I asked you guys for some money because I needed to have some money to buy a property, you'd probably, if you're like me, you're probably like, well, Dane, you know, you seem like you have a track record. I'll start with a little bit of money. Let's actually see that you can perform. Then if you can, then we can talk about more, right? Like it makes sense to do things that way. Crypto's opposite. By the time there's proof that, hey, let's send it. Well, guys like me and Tyler bought a 10x, a 50x, a 100x cheaper. So we're way up. We're crushing the game and you're just hearing about it. And so you need to understand the cycles and then make your bets early. Now, the beauty of this is that we are right here. We are just in the beginning of this next cycle. The next Bitcoin halving will be roughly mid-April. So we're a few months away. And once again, over and over and over, we've done this 3 times already. This is the bull run that we're headed into. Bitcoin's already back up to 50K. I think it probably has a correction here heading into the halving, so I'm not buying any Bitcoin right now. But you make your own financial decisions. I'm not going to give you any financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so it's important to clarify all that. But gosh, the fun part is 12 to 18 months, once again, historically after the Bitcoin halving. Once again, if you take one thing in your brain, I want this to stick. If you're going to buy anything, like now-ish is the time. Wait about a year to 18 months and look to take profits. You'll probably outperform just about everybody else that's trying, because everybody at the top is going to say, we're just getting started. There's going to be so much more. And they're the ones that are going to hold. And if you take profits, you'll be the one that actually makes money. So cool. Let me give you a few examples of what you could have done from the last bull run if you would have put a few bucks in. So anybody heard of Solana? Is that one familiar? That's a bigger one. So if you haven't heard of Solana, it's just a cryptocurrency. It's called a layer one blockchain. It's just what everything's built on top of. So kind of like you have the internet, and then you have internet-based companies that are built on top of the internet. Layer one blockchains are kind of like the internet, where everything's built on top of it. All right. So Solana, if you would have put $1,000 into it in the beginning of the last bull run, and then waited about a year, that $1,000 would have turned into $500,000. This isn't doing anything special. This isn't trading. This isn't getting cute with it. This is literally just buying near the beginning of the cycle, sitting on your hands for a year, and then coming back and taking profits. You don't need to spend a ton of time. You don't need to do all this insane research. You don't need to follow 95% of the idiots online that'll tell you that magically you're supposed to come in and trade the most volatile asset class in the history of mankind with no trading experience and make some money that way. You're not going to make money that way. I can almost guarantee you, I've tried and lost tons. So if you follow the cycles, this is relatively simple. All right, Solana, it only gets better. This is Polygon. This is 1,000 into $1.2 million in about a year. And something like Hex is a top 5 all-time performing cryptocurrency. And its first cycle of all cryptocurrencies, you could have turned $1,000 into 10 million bucks in about a year. It's crazy. There is no opportunity like this anywhere else. And if you're like me, the data points should show you, hey, like a little, I should figure out just a little bit of exposure here. Okay, you don't have to be a genius. Now, here's some facts. Nobody's gonna play this perfect. Almost nobody turned 1,000 into 10 million in hits. Almost nobody. Because you're never, or you're very rarely gonna buy the perfect bottom and sell the perfect top. And the beauty of this is that you don't have to. You don't have to buy the perfect bottom nor sell the perfect top if we just follow the cycles and generally get in at the right time and generally get out at the right time, not be too greedy. So a really good example, this is my friend Dylan. So Dylan turned 3,000 bucks into 900K. So he didn't turn 1,000 into 10 million with Hex, but he turned 3 grand into 900K. Not a bad day at the office, right? He did all right. And once again, this is just being early. This is buying when things are cheap and then selling when they're more expensive. Now, anybody use like Robinhood, Coinbase, Crypto.com? Anybody use any of those before? Cool. We've got a brand new people here. You haven't been corrupted with all the bad habits that we see all the time. Okay, cool. Everybody familiar with the MLSs? Yeah, right. Are there generally plentiful deals for real estate investors there, or primarily retail deals? There's retail deals, right? You're not hardly going to find there's deals there, but there's not tons of deals that are great for investors, right? And everybody knows that. When you go and you buy cryptocurrency, when you go to Coinbase, when you go to Crypto.com, when you go to Robinhood, by the time cryptocurrencies can get listed on those exchanges, they have to meet a set of parameters to get listed there. Because understandably, Coinbase doesn't want to list a bunch of crap where everyone gets scammed and screwed. They want to list things ideally that have that they can mitigate risk on for their users, because they want their users to come back, right? And that's a beautiful thing. The problem is by the time they meet parameters to get listed there, guess what? Coinbase is like going on the MLS and trying to find yourself a really good deal for an investor. People like me and Tyler already bought way cheaper before they got listed there. So there's not necessarily a right and a wrong way to go about doing things here. It's more just a matter of strategy and what your goals are. So something like Bitcoin, was it Josh that spoke earlier? His name was Josh, right? That was beautiful, and I love Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin was a beautiful framework because it paved the way for cryptocurrency, it paved the way for things to be here. The tricky thing with Bitcoin, anybody use, in fact, raise of hands, do you have a technology that you use in your life today that's 15 years old? Anybody? Is there anything in your life that's a tech-based thing that's iPhone? Do you have a 15-year-old iPhone?
I don't use it.
Right.
No, not that one, I got the current version.
Right, you have the current version, exactly. So Bitcoin is beautiful, and once again, maybe Josh will disagree with me, many people will, and that's fine, it's like real estate investing, there's lots of ways to do it, it's just a matter of preference and what you wanna do. Bitcoin is 15-year-old tech, alright? And everybody already knows about it, make no mistake about it, Elon Musk already bought it. Is it Bolwinkle or whatever, there's already been current countries that have adopted it as their national currency. It's like buying Microsoft or Apple stock at this point. Everybody already knows you're probably not going to get rich buying Bitcoin. You're just not. Maybe, and once again, this is my personal opinion. I could be totally wrong on this, but I don't think that Bitcoin's going to get past 100K in the next 12 to 18 months before it goes and does another 70% dip. So if you bought today, in my opinion, once again, maybe Josh or someone, you'll see these other people that say Bitcoin to 500K this go around. Look, if Elon Musk already bought, and a bunch of the venture capital firms, in fact, JP Morgan Chase, Fidelity, BlackRock, all those guys are buying it, and they've been buying it last year, and they've been buying right now. If they've been buying it already, your opportunity is largely diminished. We want to find things that are, in my opinion, I like to find things, me and Tyler, but things that are newer that have much higher upside.
All right, so Dane, about a year ago, I bought Bitcoin at 46,000,
Okay,
rode it all the way down to wherever it's been, and
Sure.
now it's finally about back up to where I bought it, maybe a little bit more, you know.
cool,
And I put another 2,500 into Ethereum at 3,900, and
sure.
and now it's kind of starting to creep its way back up. So
Sure.
that's been my experience with crypto.
That's good, so you've been in a little bit.
Yeah, just, watching it go. I mean, it was just more to, kind of like, I'll say that I'm doing this right.
Sure.
Didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, and I love that. I think it's the same as real estate investing or being an agent. Like, you first just need to get into the game to understand how it works, and then you can get more sophistication from there. So most people, me included, I bought my first Bitcoin in 2017. You couldn't have bought it much higher than me. I pretty much bought right at the freaking top. I was at an event, a real estate event with one of my buddies. He's like, "Dang, you've got to see this Bitcoin thing. I bought it when it was $3,000 and now it's worth 20." And I did the exact wrong thing, just like I explained to you guys. I was like, "Oh, you've done it. Must be a great time right now." And I bought the top, and the price came back down to 3K or 6. I think it came back down to 6. But anyways, like, I got destroyed on that one, but that's all right. Like, I was just first getting in. The beauty is, once again, your guys' timing, in my opinion, is quite good right now. All right, now not only can we look at crypto data, but gosh, I want to make sure now that we're looking at macroeconomic data, because make no mistake about it. If we have a freaking World War III, or there's a big terrorist attack, or something like that occurs, we'll have a lot bigger problems than what crypto or the stock market or real estate is going to be doing. Nothing's going to do well in that environment, most likely, right? Maybe gold. Maybe go buy some gold or some bonds. But I'm not here for a 20% return on my money. I'm here for the life-changing, face-melting opportunities that are present in crypto. So I want to see if anybody, if you can guess this answer, I am going to send you a book. I have a few different books I'm going to talk about later. I'll send you a book. There's only been one president in the history of the United States that's gone up for re-election and the economy was good and they were not re-elected.
Bush.
Any guesses? That's a good guess.
Bush.
That's a good guess. Trump.
I'm gonna say Trump.
Trump is the only president that's ever occurred. So if we take him out of the data set, 100% of the time, if you went up for re-election, the economy was good, you were re-elected. If you went up and the economy was bad, you were ousted. Right? Every single time. Now, what's the general consensus in here? Do you feel like the economy is in great shape or lesser good shape? I'll say
Lesser.
lesser, right? Right. And that's not a secret to anybody. Everyone feels that way, regardless of your political affiliation. I can't find a single person who's like, "Yep, economy is really great." Not one, right? So I think the current administration, they have to find a way to try to
You haven't turned CNN on lately. then.
well, yeah, we can talk about property and we want to go there, right? But anyone that you talk to, it's not CNN. And so they've got to do something to make people feel like, hey, but everything's gonna be all right. And we've already seen their playbook with COVID. They printed a bunch of money, they made some policies, they sent it to people, and they're gonna do the same thing. I think this year, it looks like the Fed has signaled that they're gonna turn the money printer back on full steam ahead in May. However, from the last CPI report, things were better than anticipated, so it's looking like that might push out later in the year, and that's a good thing. As soon as they pivot, that means things have gone to shit, and they have to do something to try to like correct course before it gets terribly bad. So the longer they push that pivot out, the better for us, because we can keep having the rally that we're having in crypto right now, in the stock market and real estate, we can keep having that rally. As soon as things change, we want to look to be getting out of many positions. All right, the other thing that we can be doing, anybody know what the Bitcoin ETF is or heard about that? Anybody heard of this? The Bitcoin ETF? You heard of this? Okay, once again, huge oversimplification. Josh could probably explain this better than me, but huge oversimplification. Essentially, the Bitcoin ETFs were approved, what's it been, a couple of months now, roughly speaking. It just allows the stock market, it allows Wall Street to bring Bitcoin to Wall Street. Allows the big bankers and all those guys to get in. And you'll be able to add Bitcoin to your 401k or to your pension plan or to different things like this. So you can have exposure there, which is kind of a cool thing, right? And they've been buying all last year and early this year. The beauty is most people still aren't in. They still aren't here. All we've got to do is be early before most people are there. They'll make life-changing, face-melting, life-altering gains, right? We're still really freaking early. All right, so our strategy is really simple. We work primarily with people that are already running and gunning. Like Jeff, or probably some of you guys, you're already good at business or making a few bucks here or there. And so we want to make things really simple where we can demystify this magic internet money called crypto. We want to make it really simple and give a strategy that anyone that's super busy can go and follow. So here's our strategy, really freaking simple. We want to look to buy here in early 2024, preferably before the Bitcoin halving and things that we feel good about. We want to hold those things until 12 to 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. So somewhere between April and October of next year, if this cycle is anything like the last three, and then we want to make cash flow the whole way and print some money. It's pretty very cool. Easy.
Dane, move this way. Was
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
Sell 25. Okay, I just
Yep.
couldn't see the screen.
And we've made it this way on purpose. Anyone can do this. Anyone. I've got people that can barely even use email doing this with us right now, that are making thousands of dollars a month, many of them in passive income, based upon their goals and what they want to do. So I'll give you a few examples of cash flow, and a good way to think about this, it's kind of like a swinging pendulum. The more you focus on cash flow, the less upside and appreciation you're typically going to get. You're going to give that up. And the more you focus on upside and appreciation, the more passive income you're going to give up. So I'll give you some examples here. We'll talk about some of the risk and reward. So this is a platform. This is a means that we use to make passive income in crypto. It's called staking. All right, I'm going to give you a few different terms. You might not be familiar with any of them, but I'm going to relate them to things that hopefully you may be familiar with to make this really simple. Anybody heard of the term staking for crypto? Okay, cool. So all staking is, once again, huge oversimplifications here, but it's just a means. It's a thing that you can go do on the blockchain. And the easiest example here is kind of like a stock dividend. Anybody own any like Coca-Cola stock, for instance, or something that gives you a dividend?
Yep.
Yeah. So pretty simple concept, right? Just for owning a stock, owning some shares in a company, they give you some of the revenue, usually quarterly. They give you a little sliver of the revenue each quarter, just for being in the game, right? That's it, simple. Now the amount of money they give you is a little tiny dribble, and it's only paid out quarterly. We can do this in crypto, but we can make landslides of cash, and we can get paid every single day. That's how I was making 50K a month, because I was getting paid every single day. And so this slide right here, these are amounts in Ethereum that we use this particular platform here. This is $500 increments in Ethereum. Now, this value here can change because crypto is volatile, right? Nothing here is guaranteed. Just like real estate, nothing's guaranteed. You can hedge your bets, right? We always want to make sure we're being smart, but nothing's guaranteed in life. Crypto's no different. So some of this stuff, these amounts, these $11,000 amounts can go up and down. But $500 until $11,000, that was in about 30 to 45 days. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. These opportunities, they're not everywhere, but they're becoming more frequent. And all you have to do is know where to. It's like finding real estate deals. When I was doing real estate, we went out. Anybody familiar with the term driving for dollars? Just heard this term, right? Everybody's familiar with this. It's just driving around trying to beat up crappy houses, and you're hoping to call the owner. At least as an investor, I was hoping to call the owner, find somebody that'd sell for a better price than they could get for retail, so I can make a few bucks. That's all it was, right? So we went out. We were driving for dollars. Me and my little brother. We went and found about 1,000 houses in West Valley and Taylorsville. It's literally like all the houses out there. And I just put them all on my spreadsheet. We were calling them was our plan of attack. And I thought to myself, you know what? And this was before anybody's texting sellers. You know, I wonder what would happen if we texted them all. So I did that. I went and texted them, and in the next 30 days, we made 6 figures. And I printed money doing that for the next 3 years. It was crazy. Because once you find these niches that work, you find yourself a literal money printer for a specified period of time, and you ride that thing until it's done. Then you got to find more opportunities. Crypto's the same. These types of opportunities come up, and you have to be early. If you're early, you make a ton of money. And if you're late, you miss the opportunity. So, very cool. Another way.
It freezes, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Cool. All right, another way that we make money is kind of like becoming the Coinbase or becoming Crypto.com, becoming Robin. All right. The other thing that I really want to stick in your brain here. Anybody see the FTX collapse? Sam Bankman-Fried take everyone's money essentially. Yep. Now, do you know why he was able to do that? He was largely able to do that because of the user agreement that all the users signed when they went to FTX and got an account. And you sign that same bullshit agreement with every single crypto exchange, period. You sign it with Coinbase, Crypto.com, Robinhood, Kraken, all of them. And what that agreement says is that they're going to give you an account to buy and trade crypto. And you can do that. You're going to pay them a fee every time you do. And then if they run bad business and they go bankrupt, they can seize all of your assets. They can sell all of it to go pay their creditors, and you get whatever's left over. You're the one that takes on all the risk, all of it. With every single one of these are called centralized exchanges. You take on all the risk. And then when you go to one of these places, essentially, you're just sloshing their money back and forth because they put the assets up there. They give you an account so you feel warm and fuzzy, like it's yours. And then you pay a fee every single time you trade back and forth. And then you hope at the end of the game that they ran good business so you don't get screwed. All right. But crypto was not made to make banks and big companies more rich. It was made to give all of us as citizens of the world a shot, a real opportunity at a financial system where Jerome Powell can't just print more money and Nancy Pelosi make it all and give it to her buddies and say, oh, we play the same game as you. No, fuck you, Nancy. It's not true at all. No, it's not true at all. We all know it, right? And so crypto is made to give us a shot at things, all right? So the way that we can do this is rather than going to like Coinbase or Robinhood and them putting up all of the assets and then earning fees from users swapping them, we can go to decentralized platforms where there is no third-party overlord that earns all the fees, and we can be the ones that earn the fees. We can be the ones that put up the assets, and it helps facilitate trading, and we earn fees and rewards from doing that. So these are a few screenshots of my wallet. This is a platform that launched a few months ago. I knew the game and I knew what was coming. So I came and played it. I played it fairly hard. So I came and I put $100,000 here up on the platform, decentralized platform. Just putting some of my crypto up there, not all, some of it. I put $100,000 worth. Once again, this is truly a set it and forget it type of thing. 30 days later, these are daily rewards, right? $1,300 this day, $3 grand that day, $800 that day. It came back 30 days later and I made $20,000 on 100 grand. In 30 days, just from knowing where to park my money and leaving it alone, I can do whatever I want during the rest of the time. Just prints money, right? And once again, the key to all this is to be early. That's the name of the game. All right, now the last one, this is the example of how I was making 50 grand a month. We can go and we can mine cryptocurrency. Now, maybe you guys heard of Bitcoin mining? Anybody heard of that, right? So that could be a lot of people get lost in the sauce when it comes to Bitcoin mining. Essentially, they're just supporting the network. When you go onto the blockchain and you do a swap or a trade or a buy or a sell, the network is what confirms all the information and then stores it. Then you can go and see what's going on. It's beautiful. Rather than banks doing business behind closed doors, anybody can go on the blockchain and see what's going on. Beautiful. All right. But once again, with something like Bitcoin that's already been around that everybody's heard about, you're not going to make life-changing wealth there. If you don't have, like, in my opinion, 20 million plus to go park in crypto, Bitcoin isn't the place for you. It's just not. Because the gains there are just not great. I'd much rather go and put my money in Ethereum or some other things that we own because there's just a lot more upside there. All right. So you're not going to make any money in Bitcoin mining. It takes so much power and hardware to make the money there. It just doesn't work for hardly anybody unless once again you have an obscene amount of money. However, we can come and we can mine new things. Once again, the name of the game is to be early. We can mine new things where there's opportunity. These are some of my mining awards. That's 24 hours, $800, 48 hours, $4,400. And literally, I was printing 50 grand a month. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. From my basement. I'm literally just building the thing and letting it ride. And I'm not the smartest guy. And I'm sure there's plenty of you that are smarter than me in this room, right? I'm sure plenty of you have more experience than me in a lot of different facets of life. You don't have to be a genius to do this. You just need to understand the opportunity, be a little bit early to it, and be patient. All right. This doesn't happen overnight. This took time for me to understand and build and then go for it. All while, I don't know about you guys, but I was trying to make $300 a month per door with my real estate portfolio. I had 25 units and it was good. Most months it was great. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I haven't paid taxes in years because I had enough depreciation from real estate that I didn't have to pay any taxes. And for me, I think that's the absolute best part of real estate. You can make it where you pay no taxes because you have enough depreciation. But I think there's some easier ways, especially right now where we're at in the market cycle of crypto, just some easier ways to leverage your money where the goal, in my opinion, the end goal should be buying real assets. It should be buying real estate. It should be buying gold. It should be buying whatever it is that you believe in. And so our goal is to leverage the next 12 to 18 months to make as much money as humanly possible in cryptocurrency. And then make no mistake about it, there has not been a single cryptocurrency ever in the last 15 years since crypto's been around that's been like a bear market hedge. Everyone's going to come and try to sell you that load of crap. None of it's been a bear market hedge. It would have been better to be in cash. For most of even against Bitcoin, it would have been better to have been in cash over the last, what was it? It would have been like 18 months ago for like a good solid year and then come back and buy back in. Or better to be in real estate or any other place. This stuff dips 65 to 99% every single bear market. All of it does. And so I don't want to be here. I don't know about you guys, but if you bought something you knew was going to go down 70 to 99%, I freaking want to sell that when it goes up. And I want to wait and be patient for the next go round. Pretty simple. All right, so what we found is that doing crypto, I can come up here and talk to you till I'm blue in the face about what a great opportunity this is and how exciting it is. But until you can actually get in the game and figure out how it works for you, it's just like, it's just pillow talk. It's good for nothing. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that anybody that says, hey, Dane, and we see the opportunity here as well, and we want to take advantage of it too, we want to freaking hold your hand. I don't want to just give you some information and hope that it goes well. We want to freaking hold your hand and I want to shove it down your throat so that if you come and you ride with me, you ride with Tyler, you ride with other 150 people in our community, that you can get this, you can understand it well, and have a really high likelihood to change your life forever. So that's what we do. I don't know if you guys anybody ever bought a course before? How many of those courses were good? I've had some good ones, I've had a few, but I'd say like 80 to 90% of them is like freak, what did I just buy? You know, you went through and geez, just threw away $5,000. So once again, we want to make sure that if you come and you see the opportunity, we want to make sure that you can do this at a really high level and change your life forever. Now, not only do we want to help you do cryptocurrency in a big way, but once again, our whole goal is to make as much money as humanly possible with crypto over the next 12 to 18 months. And then we want to put that in a real world assets. And if you're like me, I'm tired of finding the next deal. The roller coaster ride of always being hunting for deals. I know about you guys, but it's exhausting to me. I don't like finding the deals. I certainly don't want to be the manager of any of that stuff. I don't want to manage any rentals ever again. In fact, I sold all mine because I don't like doing that part of the business. But I love being the money in deals because once again, there is no better way to offset your taxable burden than real estate. There's just not. It's the best tool God's ever given mankind to stay away from the IRS. And so I want to have the best people in the country as part of our community. I've already got a truckload of them and we're getting more all the time, every single month. But I want the best people in real estate, in oil and gas, in business mergers and acquisitions. And we have some other cool deal flow that's more unique. I want to have the best people in those places. So when it comes time to take profits in crypto, I want to have all the right people in place. So I'm like, look, I took profits. What's the next deal so we can continue to grow my money? And we've already got a bunch of them. In fact, one of our guys, he just sold, he sold half of the worst half of his real estate portfolio. That was, what was that? 500 units, $60 million that he took profit this year, sold off the worst half to redistribute that money and keep the better half. So people like that, we have a boatload of them in because once again, I just want to invest with people that already know what they're doing. So I'm in a place in my career where I want things to be freaking easy. I want to make a bunch of money and I want to have freedom, right? To be able to get these types of results, or for instance, some of the quarters, you know, like you can make 100K in a quarter in passive income. Now, once again, I want to make sure that if you're taking full advantage of the passive income, you're leaving some of the appreciation by the wayside. So my goal right now, in fact, Tyler might be getting more passive income than me right now, because my goal, I feel like where we're at in the cycle is to have exposure to all the upside. Because I showed you some really cool passive income. Let's take my best example where I put 100K in and I extracted 400 out. That's a 4X. We got a 10X on some of our money in 30 days a few months ago. Whereas it took me 8 months to get a 4X in passive income. And that's like a really high performer. 10X's in crypto happen all the time. If you're just in the right places in your herb. You're not going to get that in Bitcoin anymore. But if you're in some of these other right places, you can freaking print money. All right. So let me show you. All right. So here's a few things that we offer. But what I would like, in fact, can I have a piece of paper here? So what I like to do, and in fact, if we can use your pen, I'm gonna pass this around and just put your name if you want. No pressure, but if you want, I'm gonna send you one of 2 books. Call it we're gonna say 1 for my favorite book on inflation, and 2 for if you want to get my favorite book on crypto. If you put your name and email, we'll go ahead and reach out to you. Actually, do phone too. We'll go ahead and reach out to you and send you a book. Anybody read the book Where Money Goes to Die? Is that one familiar? Oh my gosh, you're about to have a treat. Anybody read the book called The Bitcoin Standard? Oh man, I'm gonna give you guys all sorts of gold then today. Cool. So you put your information on that. I'll send you put 1 or 2 for the crypto book or the book on inflation. They're both going to change your life in a huge way. I heavily recommend reading those. So cool. My gift to everybody, because we want to help change your life, whether you come along with us as part of our community or not. So with our community, once again, we want to give you all the tools that we wish we would have had to make millions of dollars in the last bull run. So the last bull run, I did a little bit of crypto on the side and I was laser focused on real estate, because you guys probably heard the same thing as me. They're like, to make a ton of money, you need to be laser focused and get really good at one thing. I just chose chose something that I would have made a lot more money and had I focused on crypto and done real estate on the side instead of having those two things reversed. So I just changed my plan this go around, where I sold off all my rentals. That's pretty crazy to say. I sold off all, literally, all but one. I have that other one, we went under contract yesterday, which is great to sell it. I sold off all my rentals, all my real estate to focus on cryptocurrency. Because if you can do this one thing right, over just a 12 to 18 month period, you'll never have to worry about making money ever again in your life. Generate for generations to come. It's crazy. And if I'm wrong, I can go back and I can make more money, you know, like that could be. I'm not gonna stand up here and tell you guys that like we're perfect and we know everything and have a crystal ball. If there's one thing I found is nobody does. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes I made during the last bull run is finding these guys that talked a huge game and seemed incredibly intelligent, and every one of them were wrong. In fact, there's kind of some of the people that sound like me that don't necessarily have all the pieces and talk a huge game. They got a lot of it freaking right. So that's what we want, is just to align with people that know what they're doing. We spend our fair time in the markets to figure it out, and we'd love for you to come along as well. So we have all of these things to be able to help everyone be successful. We have our course that goes through your security to make sure that you're not having your money stuck on exchanges. You can actually keep it in your own wallet so they can't come and screw you if they run bad business. How we make cash flow, how we buy and sell on the blockchain. You can do all this stuff without third-party counter risk, and we show you how to do all of that. We do blockchain group calls every other week, where just like this, we do a call, usually it's a couple hours long, and we go through what's going on in the market, what we're doing, how we're creating more passive income, how much money we're using, any cool new strategies. We go through all of it, because once again, we just want to make sure everyone's plugged in and has a shot. We also have an exclusive crypto community on an app called Telegram. It's just like WhatsApp or another messaging app. It's just where crypto lives. We do all that. Tyler is one of our admins in the group, and we're in there every single day talking about new strategies, what's going on, all that type of stuff. It's excellent. But gosh, a lot of people, maybe some of you included, are like me, where I say, God bless you, but I never want to watch your course. I just want to get to the freaking money. That's why I'm here, right? If you're like me, then we do one-on-one coaching, where literally we can bring you in. Tyler is one of our experts. Tyler does most of our one-on-one coaching because he's the person in our community that we trust the most. Where literally you come in and you have 6 calls. We get you set up and making passive income, typically in the first 3 or 4. And then you have the other calls to be able to do whatever you want with. Most people save them to be able to figure out how to exit the market later, how to use other passive income strategies to do, once again, it's up to you, whatever you want. Plus you get all this other stuff. So you get it all, plus you get Tyler on our team, or me, or Corey. But once again, typically Tyler will walk you through everything. And in fact, Tyler, why don't you come up here, and I'd love you if you wouldn't mind sharing your story about your liquidity position that you had.
Yeah. Can I take a few more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, so just a little context about who I am. So kind of like you guys, and especially like you, I just got into crypto about a little over a year ago. And so now you hear from him, it's like, well, why is he doing the coaching then? And I think all I can say to that is it doesn't take a genius to figure this stuff out. Like, it really is simple. If you've got the right coaching and the right guidance, you can figure out what it takes to be successful very, very fast. This stuff doesn't take years. Yeah, so my first exposure to crypto was, I knew Dane from real estate, and I saw him posting stuff on social media. I was like, what the heck? I thought he was doing wholesaling at the time.
His account must be hacked.
His account must be hacked. It's a scam. What's he selling? But no, my idea of crypto at the time was like this fake internet money that had no use. And I thought this guy had lost his mind, to be honest with you. But I was sick of real estate at the time, so I reached out to him. We talked for about an hour. And yeah, he's like, I sold all my rentals. I'm making 50 grand a month. All these taglines. He's like, okay, I'll bite. So I jumped in. And one of the first things I wanted to do was liquidity providing that he was talking about. And so I put a little bet in, I put 5 grand in, and then by the end of 30 days, I was making more money on this 5 grand than I was on my 5 rental units that I had. And it blew my mind. Completely blew my, I was like, okay, I guess you're not a scammer, dude. So I started looking at that and I was like, okay. I've got my 5 rental units and kind of like you, it was like I had so much equity tied up into them. So I started to ask myself, what if I took that equity and I started moving it into these opportunities that are coming down the pipeline? And like, for example, one of them that I'm selling another rental property right now in this moment, I'm in the process of it. And I'm gonna take that equity and put it into another protocol we haven't talked about. And it's gonna make 22 grand a month, every single month, on a property that I'm making $700 a month on currently. Like, it is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And it's so easy. Literally, you put it in, you plug some numbers in. If you know what to look for, that's really the key. If you know what to look for, you're in the game, you know how to transact. You just put it in and you walk away. That's it. So yeah, I feel like in these moments I was sitting over here, like I've gone through this process from not knowing anything about crypto, giving Dane a shot, and then now being on this side where I get to teach people, which is really fun. Like, I always talk about crypto anyway, and I've got friends who have cut me off. I'm sick of you talking about crypto. So to be in a room where people like show up to listen to us, it's pretty good, pretty good. But I've been on that side where I don't know nothing for where I am today. I'm sitting over there. I'm like, even for me, being in this context of a pitch, like our bullshit meters are starting to ding off, right? You start to question everything you say, or you start hearing, which I think is fair. Like, we've been through enough of these things, like, it's just how it goes. But I'm telling you, like, the guy's the real deal. And how fast I've been able to learn and what it's brought to my life. Like, I've completely walked away from real estate, completely walked away from the rentals, other than one duplex that I have left. And yeah, I love them here. It's sweet.
You sold them and redeployed that money, so you did.
I did, yep. Yeah, because there's tons of equity. I bought these things like 3 years ago. But I can't refinance them because then they don't cash flow. So it's like, what can I do with this stuff?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just funneled everything into crypto. And I started with 30 grand. I mean, that was a pretty big bet for me. And then shortly it turned into 100 grand, and then 200 grand, and then 600 grand. And I was like, but you start to build your own conviction. You get in the game, you start learning, you start knowing what to look for. You learn from these guys, and you get your own conviction. And then you go a little heavier if you choose. You don't have to bet the farm like we have, but yeah. So. All right.
Cool. So once again, our stick up here is not many of you are probably, I know Jeff and your wife are great at real estate. We say keep doing that, like do whatever you're already good at to generate revenue. I think that's incredibly important. Most people, in fact, we tell almost everybody, you don't need to go all in like us. It's a personal decision. Everybody makes for himself, and we're not leaving real estate. We're just leveraging the best opportunity that we have right now with the intention that I'd rather own 250 units instead of 25 like I had. And I think that I could go and get there just by leveraging crypto over the next 12 to 18 months, and then actually get to some of the scale that you need for that stuff to really be exciting. So you can come and do it with us if you want. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, so essentially we have 2 options, and we'll do some Q&A here too, and you guys can ask me, you can ask Tyler. I mean, Tyler's newer to crypto and you can see what he's doing. But essentially we have 2 options. So the first is our crypto fast track annual membership. And this is all the stuff that's great if you're a self-starter. If you're somebody that's like, man, I've got time, I can jump in and I can figure this stuff out. I can use the resources that we've got. In fact, Tyler was one of our guys. Tyler called me after he got in. A week later, we had a follow-up call scheduled because we do a strategy session and a security session with everybody. And we jumped in a week later. He's like, Dane, I'm already making passive income. I'm doing this and this and this. Is it right? I was like, yeah, it looks great. In fact, this is awesome. So we've had people like Tyler that have used this stuff just to jump in and start making passive income. You could do it over a weekend if you just spent the time. And then once again, you stay with us in our private group and whatnot, so we can continue to help you. But if you're like me and you're like, I don't want to watch your stupid course, Dane, I just want to get to the money, then we offer one-on-one coaching as well. You can come and hang out with us. We buy you what's called a hardware wallet. Anybody heard of a hardware wallet? Have you heard of these stories of like the guy that lost his wallet, lost his wallet in the dump, and he went and spent $1 million excavating to recover his Bitcoin? You heard of this? It's crazy stories. So there's a right way to protect yourself. We haven't ran into any of those issues. But if you have a wallet, your own wallet, you know how to manage that thing properly. That's like essentially you're becoming your own bank where you hold all of your own assets. Nancy Pelosi and Jerome Powell can't come fuck you over a barrel. Excuse me, that's probably a little strong. I said it, I'm like, dang, let's do something. That's how I feel about this. Like, they can't come and screw you. And they can't screw me. I don't keep my money in the bank. I keep the majority of it on the blockchain. Because if banks go up in smoke, and if you know my institution, they talk about FDIC insurance financing, make no mistake about it. You're screwed. FDIC doesn't have enough money to cover everybody if everything goes bad. But gosh, I can always get a new bank account if I have my money on the blockchain, because I can take that wherever I see fit. I can keep my money safe. I can give it where I have appreciation and I have passive income, and it can change your life forever, just like it has ours. So kind of fun. Let's do a little Q&A. You guys have any questions? I'd love to answer. You can ask Tyler if you want to come up here and have him answer questions. We'd love to do it.
So you were saying that you started in the passive income investing and then you moved some of your cash into the like the long-term appreciations because of this rise we're going, and you're still more in the, or was it vice versa?
No, so
Passive.
yeah, so I only have about 20% of my portfolio going into this passive income play that I'm doing. And the reason why is because it's so stable. Like it's, if you guys don't know, it's on stable coins, so they're pegged to the dollar. So I'm able to generate 20 grand a month on the stable coin that doesn't have the downside risk, but it also doesn't have the upside exposure as well. So I'm just kind of diversifying in that way where I want some more.
So in that scenario, you're only getting cash flow, no appreciation on the.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. But I'm also taking that cash flow and I'm positioning that into these higher appreciating assets as well. So it's a way for me to keep my principal safe, let it generate and spit off income, take that income, put it into higher appreciation. Yeah.
Let me show you guys something really cool. I'll show you what Tyler's talking about here. All right, so we're all familiar with the volatility of crypto, right? How it could go crazy up and it could go crazy back down again. But most people are not familiar with this concept called stable coins. So stable coins are cool. And I don't know if can the guys on Zoom see this screen?
It should be because it's cloned and
Okay.
I'm sharing that monitor. So.
All right. So essentially what stable coins are, we'll go to dark mode so it's easy to see. There we go. Okay. So essentially what stable coins are is they remove the volatility that everybody's heard about with crypto. They represent your dollars on the blockchain. So they typically don't go up, they don't go down, they just stay at $1. One stable coin on the blockchain equals $1 in your bank account, right? And so like Tyler said, it's beautiful because you don't have the downside risk there like you do on something that's more volatile, but you also don't have the appreciation either. And so depending upon your goals, I mean, we have a lot of people in our group that are using this platform right here, where maybe they have money in between real estate deals or in between business ventures. I've got a couple of guys working on $1 billion roll-up. They have an e-com folio is what they call it, where they're acquiring e-commerce companies. You put them under one umbrella, you can go get a 10x on your money on that bad boy all day long with the VCs. It's crazy. So in between their acquisitions, they can come and park their money here on liquid loans. Do you guys have a checking or savings account that's making 93%? Because we do on the blockchain. And it's cool. So people can use this for a lot of different purposes. It's a way to offset risk where, once again, there's risk to everything. There is no such thing on the blockchain. I was like, hey, there's no risk. There's risk to everything. But this is one of the more one of the less risky things that you can do, or once again, it's just stable coin. You're making 93% a month on your money right now, on your money parked on the blockchain with no volatility.
And what's producing those returns?
So the blockchain is the only place where you can just get free money. It's freaking crazy. So I've made more free money in crypto than I made some years when I was working my corporate job, and I made the whole year. So if I go, we'll take a step back and make this super simple. So all of cryptocurrency is pretty well built off of what's called open source code. Right? All that means is that if you wanted to make a cryptocurrency today, We could go make one right now, just by copying the code from another crypto. We could rebrand it, call it whatever we want, and then we could launch it. Now you are a proud owner of a cryptocurrency on the blockchain. That doesn't mean it's gonna do well or do anything for that matter, but you can go and create a new cryptocurrency pretty easy. It's not that hard. Just copy the code and you call it something new, right? But really pretty simple. Now, when you go and you create a new cryptocurrency is the same as any business, right? You need to be marketing, you need to be selling, you need to get adoption for your thing to have any legs, do well in any way, shape, or form. And so the way that these people do it, the marketing they have to give away, is they have their cryptocurrency to give away a lot of the time. So literally for marketing purposes, go and give you free money, they'll give some tokens to you, with the hopes that you come over and you participate, you check things out. So one of the ways that they're incentivizing us to use this platform, that's a little bit newer, it's launched in the last few months, is they're saying, hey, if you come over to our platform and you park your money right here, then we're gonna give you a bunch of rewards right now. This is just money they're creating out of thin air. The government does it every single day. Now we have the opportunity to do it, but build systems that actually can have long-term value, kind of like Bitcoin, your money actually becomes worth more over time instead of less and less every single day. And so you can come in here and they're marketing right now. They're saying, hey, one of the ways they're marketing is they're offering big rewards. They're saying, if you come park your money here, we'll give you really nice rewards. Now, the more people that utilize these things, the less they need to incentivize people there because they're getting market adoption. So these things naturally get pushed down, the more people that use them, but then they also get pushed back up when people leave. So this platform right here, like Tyler said, stable coins, you're not going to get appreciation here. So when we had the last big leg up or the last big run a few months ago, what was that, like 45 days ago, then you actually saw this APR go up because people were chasing that appreciation that was happening at the time. So they were leaving here and they were buying the stuff that's volatile. Because volatility is a beautiful thing if you can catch it to the upside. Sucks if you bought the top and you catch it to the downside and you lose a bunch of money. That can happen if your timing's bad. But you're almost even, which is beautiful. That's more than most people can say.
You're back.
Seriously, that's good. Like seriously. And so that's essentially kind of how these systems work for the most part. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And once again, you don't have to be a genius. A few clicks of the button, I can show you how to put your money here. Tyler can as well. And you can start making passive income today.
And there is some additional utility to this platform too. It allows you to take your assets that you have in crypto, if you bought a certain cryptocurrency, and stake it here, or at least put it here and then leverage against it. So you don't have to sell your position, but you can still pull some money from it, just like you're to refinance a house, right? And so by doing that, there's some game theory dynamics here that cause the yield. And then you can take that yield and stake that, and it earns the fees anytime somebody comes to borrow against their collateral. There's fees that are charged, and you get to get access to those as well. So
Like a stock dividend.
like a stock dividend,
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah, there's utility to these protocols. It's not just like, here's some free tokens that are out of thin air. It's in addition to that as well.
So Dan, question, so when I think about companies in stock, market, let's try to equate that so my
Yeah.
brain can figure this out, so. IPOs, new companies that go out, they go on the exchange, you can invest in them, and those come out at a certain rate, right? But there's not a ton of them.
Right.
But they do come along, and once they're out there, you can trade them. Are you saying that in this environment, there's all these new IPOs coming out all the time?
Yes, exactly.
Is that kind of the equivalent of?
Yeah, so if you come on the blockchain, right, kind of like the stock market, you have a company, a publicly traded company, and the stocks represent ownership in the company, right? And cryptocurrency is really similar. You have crypto businesses. So this is a crypto business right here. They built this platform. They're offering their service and value to the market. And then they have the cryptocurrency tokens themselves that we can buy just like stocks that represent our share of the company, if you will.
Mhm.
And so, so we wanna approach things in such a way, kind of like IPOs. It's a great example where if you just go buy a bunch of IPOs, what do they say? 95% of new
One in
businesses
10
fail. Yeah, exactly. And that's the same on blockchain. 1 in 10 new business or 1 in 10 businesses has a chance of doing anything interesting. And so with us all already being in the tech sector, I'm not dying to typically buy into brand new ideas that have never been tested. We're already the tip of the spear being in cryptocurrency, right? So what we like to do is I like to go and find things that are reminiscent of ideas that have already worked in the past on the blockchain. And then I want to be new. I want them to be new and I want to be early and I want to see a little innovation there. And if I buy those things, there's 5 things that we're looking for, at least initially, to say, hey, there's something here. As long as we bought things that have had all 5 check boxes, then I haven't lost money in anything. Now there's volatility, price goes up and down, but I haven't bought a single scam. None of my money's gone to zero. Now, if I stepped outside of that, there's that risk. And we've had some of that too, as part of the game, and you get to decide how you play the game. But 5 things. The first is I want a founder with a track record. I want it to be more than some guy in his grandma's basement thinking he can make something cool. And kind of like I told you, cryptocurrency, anybody can copy something and call it whatever they want, right? So I want a founder with a track record, that's business acumen, that's education, that's, you know, a million different things. Same as you look for real estate track record, right? The second thing is I want a cult-like community. When I say cult-like, think of like early Apple, where anybody that was early to Apple, they tell you how Apple is going to change the world, and it did in a huge way. That's really important. We need people to stick around even when things aren't like huge price increases and huge cash flow. We need people to stick around even when things aren't producing huge returns. The third thing is we want to find things that have really good marketing. So like any business, if you're not marketing, you're dying. The fourth thing is we want what's called strong tokenomics. So this is a weird crypto term, where essentially all of this means we're looking for things that are fashioned after stuff that once again has already worked really well. And the last thing is we want really strong fundamentals, where essentially we want to buy things that are built to go up a lot in value and preferably produce passive income as well. If you can find something that has all 5 of these characteristics, you found a unicorn, because there are very few of them out there, and I want to buy as much as humanly possible when I find them. So you don't need to own. You see these guys you'll see them popping up more and more this year, I promise. Where it's like, oh, here's the 50 cryptocurrencies I'm holding for this next bull run. No, you don't need 50 different cryptocurrencies to do well. In fact, if you feel that way, you're just throwing a bunch of spaghetti up against the wall and hoping something sticks. That's all that is. Now you can own more than that, certainly. You only need 5, maybe 10. You can have more once again, but 5 or 10, and you're good. And based upon your risk profile and your tolerance, Bitcoin can be a part of that, Ethereum can be a part of that. It's just based upon what you want and how you want to position yourself accordingly.
So is that the kind of stuff you talk in the mastermind group about, is like, here's the research we've done, here's the data, this is why.
Right, we do all the heavy
So
lifting.
then you share it and collaborate on
Yeah, exactly. So we share all of our research. We share, exactly what's going on and why we're doing what we're doing to help everybody be informed so that everyone can make the right decision for themselves. I'm not a financial advisor. Tyler's not. Nobody in our group should ever be considered a financial advisor giving financial advice. But what we can do, same with real estate, we can show what's worked. We can show our results. We can show why those things work and what we're doing next and how we're positioning ourselves. And then anyone that's part of the community gets to use that information and say, hey, do I like this thing? Do I like this new thing that these guys are doing? It's not, like everything we do isn't right for everybody. There's things that Tyler probably does that I don't prefer and vice versa. So like our portfolios will be a little different. And you just participate in things that you like that seem to fit your goals and what you're after. And that's why we do not only one-on-one coaching, but we do the security and strategy setup call with everybody. So by the end, you will have a customized strategy for you, and you'll know how to act upon that. If you don't want one-on-one coaching, we have that for you so you can go and get in and then make some money.
So Dan, if you'd applied that same mentality to your first cycle, your second cycle.
Oh, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be in the Bahamas on the beach at $50 million
Of
house.
those 5 to 10, how many of those would have been big winners?
Oh, if you were early to crypto, anything decent produced insane returns. You could have gone back and bought Litecoin that's essentially dead today. It did huge multiples when it came out, and it was early Bitcoin Cash. And they call them the Bitcoin wars, or there was a camp that thought Bitcoin should be one way and another thought it should be another way. And so they said, we're gonna copy this thing and call it Bitcoin Cash. They had this big separation of things. I mean, like, you had, yeah, if you were early to any of this, you did great. Yeah.
So to Terry's point, you know, going back, you weren't where you are now then.
Mm.
Is that the historical data that you said, well, those are the things that made those ones successful, so that's what we're looking for in the next one?
Exactly. Just going back and seeing what worked before and then just trying to apply that to the future. So you're looking for new narratives, you're looking for new stuff. And so it's, yeah, it's a little bit data driven, a little bit like, you know, like moon and stars type of stuff. We're just trying to take everything and say, hey, what makes sense? And one of the things that's so fascinating, I mean, the stock market's the same. In fact, the housing market's the same with everybody's, you know, if sentiment's really positive, then it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And things tend to do well, and everybody's just waiting for a crash. Like you guys have probably felt after COVID, it felt like many people are like, this thing's gotta fall apart at some point. Then it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the really interesting thing, if you go back and you look at CPI data, you look at the job report, you look at the inverted yield curve that occurs when the economy changes historically. So we have the inverted yield curve as well, which if I'm just lost you, don't worry about it. Essentially, this is an economic indicator that every single time we get this, you have a recession, typically immediately or clear up to a couple of years later. We've already had ours a while ago. And typically as that happens, then you see a huge push up in risk on assets like the stock market or crypto. And we're seeing that here. I think this year we're already seeing it in Bitcoin. It's up to 50K. It's crazy that it's recovered that much already. And we're not even to the halving yet. And I think we see that one last big push this year before potentially there's a lot more pain in the market. And I want to make sure we leverage that. I'm telling you, like, this is the trade of a lifetime. If things really do go like the 3 last cycles, and this is that one big push before everything crumbles. I mean, imagine, let's be incredibly conservative. Let's just say you 5x your money in crypto. And it's crazy to say that's very conservative crypto terms. If you don't get a 5x in crypto in the next year, I don't know how you mess that up. So you get a 5x in crypto, you take profits. And then the economy, you wait, you know, maybe you're waiting 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and then the economy corrects and you're buying real estate cheaper. I don't necessarily think we're getting back to 2009, 10, 11, 12 levels, but you're buying real estate on a discount, you're buying stocks on a discount, buying oil and gas on a discount, business, whatever you want. This is like, this year is the year to change your family tree forever. I really believe that. And that's why I've sold everything to do crypto right now. And gotten the right people in place so we can go do the other stuff in 12 to 18 months.
Anybody else have any questions?
I always have to ask the same question of professors, of anybody teaching.
Sure.
When somebody stands at the front of the room and tells me that I can make $1 bajillion by doing this, why share it? Why share it? Why do it? Because what you're at, I mean, it's not a small amount that you're asking for, obviously,
Sure.
but it's not that. If everybody in this room signed up today, you don't walk out of here and go, we're off to the bank, we're off to the Bahamas.
Right.
So what's the ulterior motivation? Because there always is something behind it, whether it be self-righteousness, I want to help. What is your ulterior motive? Why do you want to bring this room into this when you could take your knowledge and blow the doors off it without us?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. In fact, my partner Corey was on a call. One of the guys had asked Corey, what did Corey say? I thought he had a really interesting.
Well, it goes back to the chart, right? Like, where are we at in the cycle? This isn't the time to be selling, this is the time to be buying. So like the passive income stuff, this is what Corey was saying. He's like, well, this lady who was asking Corey, he's like, you're making all this money in passive income, why in the hell are you trying to sell a course? He's like, it's not the time to be selling. He's like, I'm taking all of my passive income and I'm putting it back into the market. I'm doing what I'm telling you to do. My money's where my mouth is so that I can add to my positions, because next 12 to 18 months, yeah, like if he sells it, he's missing out on a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x. So, yeah.
And not only that, we found, like, I've been blessed to be able to help some really cool people in real estate leave their job and go and build a real estate business and have more financial freedom through that. And I freaking love doing that. I think it's cool. when you can make some money, it's great, but when you can make some money with your friends, it's even better. And it could just be really difficult to be able to change your, not everyone's built to be an entrepreneur, right? They just aren't. And the unique thing with cryptocurrency is that you don't have to be a genius marketer, you don't have to be a great entrepreneur, you don't have to be good at any of those things. You just need to understand the cycles and a few good places to plug in to be able to change your life forever. And we want the opportunity to do that with as many of our friends and family members as possible, so we can change our lives together and go and do bigger things. You're probably like me, or maybe you have some big business goals or philanthropic goals. I can't do all that stuff on my own, and frankly, like, I want to do it with you guys. So that's why we do what we do. That's a really fair question. And frankly, like, I appreciate a healthy level of skepticism, because it's important. Everybody's got something to say.
When a college professor stands up and says, I could run a business and make, you know, I could do this, I could run my own business, but they're up there not running their own business, there's a sense of skepticism.
And they can teach theory all day long, but never
Absolutely.
actually made any money. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. So we put our money, like Tyler said, we put our money where our mouth is. We're not selling any of our crypto, because now is not the time to sell. The time is to add right now, and so that's what we do. Good question.
So to make sure I'm understanding your answer. Your incentive to sell this course is that much more cash to go back into.
Absolutely. Yeah, make no mistake about it. We take the profits that we make and we go back into crypto. We want to put our money where our mouth is. Absolutely.
That's what I heard too.
That's what I want to make sure I'm hearing.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so we want to try to grow our stack as well and help you guys do the same. I mean, the best, we talked about courses and coaching before. I've spent 6 figures in coaches and coaching and courses in my real estate investing career. And most of it was garbage, but there was one coach that changed my life forever. I couldn't get my real estate business to make over 300K a year. And it drove me up the wall. Like, this was my one thing of, like, I have to grow this thing. My goal is to make 7 figures a year. And so I was like, man, I know there's people that do this. If I just plug in the right person, I bet I could do it pretty rapidly. And so I, like, spent my fair amount of money trying to find the right person. And when I did, I found my buddy Joe. We're still friends today out in Florida. Joe took our company from 300K a year to 1.4 million in 18 months. Because I just had the right person that had been there and done that, kind of like you're saying, been there, done that, had the results that I wanted. And so we plugged him in and we made the money. And this is the same thing. I've seen the power of it. If you have the right people, then you can change your life. And we think we're the right people. We try to be. Not, once again, we're not perfect. We put our money where our mouth is, and the results can speak for themselves. And so it's been blessed.
So Dane, how big, I mean, yeah, I don't have an idea about this, so it might be a dumb question, but how big is this crypto community in terms of investors?
Yeah, so
what's the universe?
we got about 150 people in there right now.
That's
And
you, I'm talking about.
crypto as a whole.
How large is this?
There's tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies. There's a new idea being born every single day.
And you have 150 in your.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As far as, I mean, tons of different cryptocurrencies and people with ideas. It really is like a giant land grab happening online right now.
And this is global because it's all.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're essentially like, this is like coming to the United States when it just was formed. What's that movie? There's this old Western where they're like running around crazy and staking their claim to the land, and you can just grab up pieces and call them yours.
Right, Clint Eastwood thing.
Probably, yeah. It's great. I love Western movies. That's the only action movies my mom would let us watch growing up. But essentially, like, this is the same thing. And so there's tons of ideas and people trying to, like, stake their claim. And if you have a lens to be able to look through, to be able to say, hey, what of these things are likely to work? What are less likely to work, and where can we actually make some money? Then you should do all right. And so that's what we hope to do is to have our fair share, and so far so good.
So within your course and within your mastermind, you don't necessarily have any proprietary software or development things. You just like, this is what's out here. We're assembling.
Our investment
our-
strategy is proprietary. Nobody's doing what we're doing. And I've spent tons of money. I've talked to the smartest people in cryptocurrency. I've been in tons of different communities. Nobody's combining different asset classes with crypto. Nobody has an investment. I'm telling you guys, once you get in, like, your mind will be blown with real estate. There's already a lot of sophistication and big money and people that know how to invest. And so like, it's not hard to step in and people are like, oh, come in, you do this and this is how you build a rental portfolio. That's largely non-existent in crypto. It blows my mind. Because most people here, you know, like big money is just barely starting to get in with the Bitcoin ETF. And so we bring some of the sophistication, and at least that's our goal that's lacking there. Where we can come up and grab market share and be early and make money in things. Because all of the things that you've all probably benefited just like we have in real estate, and it's not present largely in crypto. And so we bring that and we reap the rewards because of it.
So are you guys transparent in this group where people share their holdings and their plays and what they're doing?
Everything. Yeah, I'll show you anything. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I think with Gen Xers, it's really hard for us to go from physically being able to touch things and have things, like we're used to the cash, you go work, you get
Right.
cash. Everything you're talking about is just like, you can't touch it, feel it. It's just very.
We don't even own real estate in another state. That's all right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not a millennial. I'm not a baby boomer.
How dare you
How dare
accuse
you
her?
call
She's gonna look up those years.
I mean, I think a really fair question to say, like, do you think things are going more or less digital?
It's going
You know what I
completely.
mean?
I think they're going forward. That's why I'm investigating. And one mistake I made in real estate, even though we've done fairly well compared to some,
Right.
we're nothing compared to others, right? It's because when I started out, I did it all on my own. For a long time. I did read the books. I read all of Robert Allen's and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't get mentors earlier. I didn't get around rooms of people doing what I want to do. And I know I could have like accelerated my learning curve and my success in real estate. Like I said, we did well, but I'm not gonna make that mistake in this. By the time I learn on my own, yeah. It's gonna be one of those things that I talk about, like people doing real estate. "Oh, I wish I would have bought that.
Right, right.
Never.
And that's my same experience. Yeah, there's a really good book by Dan Sullivan called Who Not How. Have you guys read that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And
I haven't implemented any of it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a beautiful.
I'm still the
concept.
Hoover.
You find the right who's and your life can accelerate drastically, and we've tried to do that in everything, and this is no different, so.
So I think answering Corey's question, he had an answer, is that you found something you think is uniquely different. And that's why you've created the course, because you know that it's a different thing. And that it's worth the amount you're asking to mentor everyone on it.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I
why
mean,
you're doing it.
People ask a really good question. They're like, well, how much money do I need to put in for this to be worth it? I mean, I could show a number of examples where we've 10x'd our money in a 30-day period. I'm like, well, a couple grand, and then you're even on a 10x, like,
Do you
you
think
know,
it's like
that's-
gambling? I mean, it kind of feels a little.
There's absolutely a component of
Gambling.
gambling if you want that in cryptocurrency. And that's one of the problems is like most people come in and they treat it like a casino. I mean, like, how do you think
Yeah.
your real estate investing would be if you treated it like a casino?
Mm.
You'd probably lose all your money, right? Like most people do it in a casino.
Mhm.
And so that's where if you bring some sophistication to it, well, you can do some really big things. So if you want to come and gamble in the casino, there's that there if you want. If you want to come and invest in things that have real cash flows, like a real business, have real dividends and real revenue, there's that piece as well. And that's primarily where we like to hang out. Yeah. It's a great question.
So like very simply, like, not worst case scenario, but like without going all in or whatever, something like this, these tokens or whatever, how secure are those tokens? If somebody just wanna move some money from a retirement account, 401k, savings account, and do some of these tokens to experience a better return than what they're doing.
Oh, it's easy. I mean, you guys ever been to Mexico and got some pesos at the money exchange or if you haven't, I imagine you could imagine what that might be like. It's the same as going to another country and you need to change your dollars for a different currency. You go to the money exchange, you make the swap, and then you take your money with you. What most people do in cryptocurrency is they go online to Coinbase, they make the exchange to cryptocurrency, and then they leave the money there. You don't leave your money at the money exchange, you want to take it with you and go and make some returns. And so that's what we show everybody is to say, hey, you need to take it a few steps further, where you take the money with you, and then you can go and put it in the platforms. I mean, this one's super liquid. I could take my money, put it in and out of here all day long if I wanted, and convert it back to cash really easily. Like, it's really pretty simple if you just know what to do.
To your point on the security too, so this protocol is. It's got $160 million sitting in it locked up right now. Of Pulse chain tokens, and then you've got 30 million of the stable coin, and then a lot more million of the loan token as well. But this is a fork or a copy of the code of another protocol called Liquidity that existed on the Ethereum network. It's like he's saying, it's finding protocols that have already been successful and then being early to them when they launch on earlier, newer protocols or newer blockchains. And on the Liquidity protocol on Ethereum, they ran like $4 billion through that thing and didn't get compromised. So to your point of security, yeah, it's been tested for sure, which is why I feel confident putting 6 figures into it.
And so you guys were also talking about, so like, those of us have money in the bank or money in real estate, like, the fear is that the government has access to whatever they want and they can change the rules whenever they want. We learned that with COVID. How involved is government in this stuff?
Yeah, they're doing their best to get in. The beauty of it is, once again, like, if I wanted to, or Tyler could, or any of us, you can go. So think about it this way. So all cryptocurrency resides on the blockchain is what it's called. So essentially that just means your money's on the internet. And I don't know if you guys familiar with it was Wells Fargo. It's like 7 years ago where they had this big debacle where they were incentivizing bankers to make as many accounts for their customers as possible, right? And they were charging them for those accounts. On average, by the time that was found out, a customer had 7 different accounts, every single customer, and they're paying monthly for that. Why can something like that happen? It's because the way that our current monetary system is built, you can do backdoor deals like that, and public isn't aware until you're caught much later and you already made a truckload of cash. Government slaps you on the wrist, gives you some fines, nobody goes to jail, and we are the ones that pay the tab on that stuff. It's absurd. But with cryptocurrency, and that's a beautiful thing about blockchain, is everybody's naked there essentially. You're naked as the day you were born, because everybody can see what's going on with the money, where it's going, what's being done with it, what this wallet is doing, and this wallet, and this wallet, and this wallet. So there's transparency there. And there's truth, which is beautiful. And so if I go and I take, once again, that's why I keep my money on the blockchain, I keep it in the bank, because I can go ahead, I can put my money there, I can secure it. So it's mine with my own wallet is what it's called. And I can take that anywhere. I can do whatever I want. I can transact 24 hours, 7 days a week. I don't have to wait for business days. I can send it. If I had $10 million and I wanted to send it to somebody in another country, I could literally send it, have it there in their wallet in 13 seconds, 8 seconds most of the time. In 8 seconds, 24/7 at any point. There's no government that needs to help facilitate that. There's no bank or title company that takes a piece because you have all these middlemen. No, like, if I want to go do a real, like, do it right now, and the money could be there instantly. Like, it's beautiful.
Your wallet address is naked too. Just make sure like your identity isn't exposed. It's not linked to your wallet, so you don't have to worry about people tracking you individually.
Yeah. So Tyler's wallet is just a string of characters. Nobody knows that that's Tyler's wallet except Tyler, and he keeps it that way for a purpose. But we can see what Tyler's wallet is doing. You can make decisions based on that data.
So without those other platforms, how do you convert it to spendable cash?
Yeah, that's great. So it's the same as using an exchange. If you want to go from dollars to pesos, you go on exchange, you go to pesos, and when you're done, you go back from pesos to dollars. So you use a centralized exchange just for the converting part. And that's where you can connect your bank to the blockchain. You can go cash to crypto or crypto to cash as much as you want, but you don't leave, once again, you don't leave your money at the money exchange, you take it with you. So that's what you do.
Which one do you guys use?
I like Kraken a lot, or there's another one called 0x Coast that we like a lot.
And you're just in and out, usually.
Yeah, oh yeah, we don't leave our money parked there. Yeah, it needs to go from there to your own dedicated wallet so that you can custody and keep it safe.
Because leaving it there is what you mentioned before.
That's
If
where
they
you run
go
all the
down,
risk.
so you can't really get it back. They can use it to pay their debts.
There were 5 exchanges that did that in the last 2 years that screwed all their customers. Not one of our guys in our community lost any money in there because we knew what to look for, we knew how to keep ourselves safe. It's the same as doing a real estate deal. It's not rocket science. If you have somebody like Jeff that can walk you through and say, hey, well, if you do A, B, C, D, and E, you're likely to get this end result. Well, then you're likely to get that end result. That's the same thing. We just say, hey, do A, B, C, D, and E, and you're likely to get this end result. Then he's gonna get that. It's not hard. Anybody can do this. You guys know Ron LeGrand? He was doing older infomercials way back
Oh,
in
yeah.
the day. So we were good, okay.
I
So
still have it.
we went and spoke at a Ron LeGrand event, like 8 months ago. The demographic there is much older because it's just like his people, that's who he tracks. And so the people there were typically anywhere from like age 60 to 80. And we have 10 of those guys come and do cryptocurrency, you know, people that admittedly, for the most part, are not like real comfortable using a computer or email or tech in general. We have those guys do crypto. You guys can do crypto. Like, once again, this isn't rocket science. It's just knowing what to do and how to do it. Anybody can do this.
You've been sitting on.
Well, I have a question. It might be probably a weird question, but can this whole system collapse? And if so, what would cause it? Or is it here to stay?
It could if they turn the internet off. If the internet gets turned off, the whole game's up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, otherwise it's like a virus that's infected the internet. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, that's a great question.
In other words, no.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. If the internet goes down, we have a lot bigger problems. I hope you have guns and food storage. You know, like,
The necessities.
yes, yes.
Well, that's what I see is why I'm looking at it too, guys, and I kind of feel like. Listening to you guys talk about this is like me talking to some of my clients.
Right.
Trying to get them to build a real estate portfolio and do what I know how to do, so I'm like. Totally a fish out of water, novice, naive, don't know anything, and it's a weird position for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, another option, if you, let me give you one other option. So I understand and I like, can you go back to my slide? Yeah. So I understand, we've got to take off here pretty quick, so I'm not gonna take much more of your guys' time. But if you want to, instead of like, if you want to come into our community, I'm telling you, this is the best and fastest way. But once again, like, I think healthy skepticism is a good thing. I didn't ask my wife to, yeah, this is good. I didn't ask my wife to marry me on our first date. Maybe you guys did. I was not one of those people who was brave enough. But we had to date a while, right? Before I could convince her that I was a good bet. The mastermind is excellent. That's where we do all of this stuff and have some more advanced tactics. If you want to come in and just test the waters, just try a little bit and see what we're about. See if you like what we've got going on. You can do the sniff test and see if we're full of crap or not, which I welcome. I think that's good. Like, once again, we're happy to put our money where our mouth is and show you all the stuff that we're doing. But if you want to come in and just take a little nibble and see what we're about, the other option that we have here is excellent. So this is our 4-week accelerator. Once again, I'm never interested in just giving you some coursework and saying best of luck to you. This is something that frankly, like, you need to do with somebody that's been doing it, knows what to do. It's not something that's gonna come naturally. This is like learning a new language. I probably told you some terms tonight that you've never heard before. This is learning a new language. So what we do with our 4-week accelerator is we give you access to the course that we have for the masterminds, a little bit more abbreviated. We give you our course. We do 4 live weekly calls over a course of a month. We do 4 calls once a month. They go from an hour to 2 hours typically each time. And we do a reverse classroom structure where you come in, we're going to give you access to the course. We're going to say, hey, for this next week, go and watch this information and then apply it. And then we'll go and answer any questions. We'll go through Q&A, and then we'll show you the next thing that we're going to do, and then give you the steps following. So you can come and hang out with us for 4 weeks. For 4 weeks, we're going to get you set up transacting. We're going to set up your security. The only thing worse than buying something in crypto that becomes worth nothing is buying all the right things because you were in the right place at the right time, just to have them stolen. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen to anybody. Once again, we haven't had it happen to a single person in our community, as long as they just freaking followed what we said to do. If they didn't follow, we got some people that made some worse decisions. Let's freaking follow what we say. This is simple. So we do that. We're gonna do some transacting and we're gonna do some passive income stuff as well, just to give you a taste to see what's going on. Once again, this is a great place just to get started. We're gonna do all the basics. Here's some more stuff that we're gonna go over. I'm telling you, like, we will change your life in the over the 4 weeks that you're with us. You're never gonna see this anywhere, I promise. So you're gonna come hang out with us. Gosh, we sell this, usually you can see total value at the bottom. We feel like this is easily $13,000 in value. We often sell this for $5 grand. But when I come and speak, especially locally, I like to work with you guys. They're in my backyard. I think it's a lot of fun. We do a big discount. So for this thing, it's only $19.97. So it's just $2 grand. You come hang out with us for a month. And we start this next one the first week. It'll be the first Wednesday of next month. Once again, we're gonna go through all that stuff, give you access to everything. In fact, if you wanna get started here, like ASAP, I can give you early access to the course, so you can start chomping through that, seeing what it's about. If for some reason you feel like we took you and you got in, you're like, this freaking sucks, Dane sold us a load of shit, I'll just give you your money back. You can keep the course, it'll be on me. That's how confident I feel, gonna be pumped about what we have to offer you. So this is a great way to come and like date, see if we really are about what we say we're about. You can come and check it out for yourself.
The question about that is, you said April is really a date that you think people.
Now's
would
the
be-
time, you wanna be moving, like now's the freaking time.
So
So
waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks. Could
it's not what I would recommend,
cost you.
but if you're
more
someone
money
that's
than
more
it cost you.
cautious, yeah, absolutely it could cost you, yeah, it absolutely could. So like, I'm telling you, time is of the essence right now. I wish my buddy would have told me about Bitcoin when he was buying at 3 instead of 20 when I first got in. We are telling you at 3K right now, essentially, is what we're doing. Saying now's the time. If you sleep on this, I promise in 12 months, you're gonna see me and Tyler posting cool stuff on social media, and you're gonna be beating yourself up if you didn't take any action. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt really freaking bad. So if you're somebody that's more cautious, I totally respect that. This is how you can come and date us and see if you really like it. If you're an action taker and you say, hey, I want to do this, let's freaking go, then you jump in the mastermind. We love to get you started ASAP.
How much time does someone need to put in for this kind of thing? Because a lot of us are.
Don't have much time, exactly.
Yeah.
We built it just for
I'm
people.
surprised she's here, actually.
So we did it, we built it just for people like you, based upon what you want. If you come and do the accelerator, then essentially you're only gonna need to spend an hour, maybe a 2 hours per week outside of our hour or 2 hour class that we have each week. So call it, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours a week to spend. And I promise you won't find a more profitable way to spend your time. I hope we beat that thing to death. I'm telling you, this is the shot of a lifetime. So if you want that, it's gonna be 2, 3, 4 hours a week to do the accelerator. If you want to come in the other opposite end of the spectrum, is if you're like, I have no time and I need more accountability than one-on-one coaching. Literally, we're gonna hang out for 4 to 6 hours. You don't need to do anything but bring your computer and we'll tell you everything else to do. Click here, do this. And we have all that accountability built in.
Like you said, by the 4th call, most people are completely set up, so
Yeah.
like, that's 4 1-hour calls.
Yeah.
Like your guys' days doing cryptocurrency, maybe not you now because you're moving to Puerto Rico, but it's like the full-time thing where you're constantly looking at it, you're constantly moving things.
I love that question.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. So we ran a poll in the group because I was curious how everybody was managing their portfolios, and I said, how much time do you spend every month managing? And the results varied from anywhere from an hour a week to an hour a month. I tend to be like an hour a month person, because once again, like, this isn't rocket science. We're primarily here for appreciation. You need to set up your stuff when we're early still, like we are in a cycle. Then we're largely just gonna let it ride for the next 12 to 18 months and make a little passive income as we go.
Yeah.
We have a huge chunk of our community that come in, probably like you guys that come in, they're like, Dane, I have no time. We set them up, boom, 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 boom. And they're like, great, I'll check in 6 to 12 months. I'm like, cool, it works out great, so.
And with some of my passive income stuff, I'm compounding it. So I'm going in every few days. You don't have to, I just do because it's quick and easy. And that's like 5 minutes.
I was thinking it might be fun too.
it is
You
fun.
can be as active as you
So
want.
you actually have to go back in there and reinvest your returns on the cash flow.
For now, yeah, for now, there's some automation processes coming out, but yeah. But that's partly why I'm here is because like, I got obsessed really early with crypto. And then I found out that I had more time in my day than I could even spend into crypto, so I asked Dane, I was like, dude, I'd love to help you out in some way, this is all I'm doing,
Right.
so. Now I feel like I can spend crypto time and feel like it's justified, yeah,
You mean for your wife?
just for myself.
She's tired of hearing him listen to talk about crypto. Love to.
So now you can say it's my job.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you've had some friends or people say, hey, can I give you 100,000 to invest for me? I don't want to go through the course. What's your answer to that? And do you have any of your 150 in the community that are actually helping manage and help other? And what's the legalities behind that?
We would love to do that. In fact, I spent an obscene amount of time trying to figure that out. There's I talked with a handful of other cryptocurrency firms that offer that service. The problem is they all said that they were underwater and they were losing money every month, because this is what the SEC does. They come in, they make new rules, and then they hold you accountable to those rules as if they've existed forever. And then they fine you if you haven't been abiding.
Would this still fall under Series 67, 67, and 63 for managing money, or do you know?
Yeah, well, I'm not familiar with those particular laws, but this is absolutely one of those things where like, if they want you to be a financial advisor, it's funny, they want you to be a financial advisor to manage somebody's money, but then the way a financial advisor license is set up, you're actually not supposed to give anybody financial advice for crypto. So you can't really do that and be in accordance with the government. And so my attorney was like, look, Dane, how valuable would it be to be a fly on the wall at Warren Buffett's office? He couldn't tell you anything, tell you what to do, but you could watch. Do you think that'd be valuable? I said, of course. He said, this is the same thing where you can show people exactly what you're doing, how much you're doing it with, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, all those types of things, but you're gonna get kicked in the nuts if you're managing people's money for them the way the government's currently constructed. So that's why we do this done with you instead of done for you, because the government just has things structured in such a way we kind of have to.
So you're 150 in the community are all individual investors.
Yeah, and we have business partners and couples and people. I have lots of people where their son's running stuff, like, or their daughter, yeah, and everything in between, so it's cool. But yeah, but for somebody like you, once again, 4 hours when you get set up, you don't need to do anything else but wait for 12 months if that's what you. Good question, go ahead.
After this accelerator, and let's say you're like, oh, I love this, I wanna keep with you guys. To transfer over to one of the other two options. Again, we're investing in that next 3,500, or does this go towards it?
This goes towards that, yeah, so if you said, hey, after this, I really like the mastermind, then we just credit this towards that. Yes, that's a great question. You come and date us, and if you wanna get married, we don't gouge your eyes out to do that. Yeah, good question.
Hey, Colin, do you have any questions on Zoom? I know we just lost Alan, so we're going kind of long, before you have to check out with the kiddies and stuff. You got anything?
Yeah, my bedtime's in 30 minutes, so
You're probably worn out.
dude, yeah, 3 a.m. kicks my butt. So I mean, just being vulnerable and transparent, like I've dabbled in crypto nodes and totally got kicked in the nuts, right?
Were those the strong notes?
Huh?
Were those the strong notes?
Yeah, it was on it was for Ethereum. Anyway, someone managed it for us, right?
Sure.
So bought into that, and then obviously the price dipped, and it's like, oh cool, well now it's below, so now you're underwater, so you have to pay the maintenance fee. And I was like, I have no idea how long that's gonna be before I ever come up. And
Right.
will it come up? Yeah, like probably. Anyway, long story short, so I don't say there's skepticism to it, right? I think there's obviously vehicles in crypto. I would just be more curious as to what I appreciate a lot of the questions that have been asked. I guess I don't have a specific question. It's just observation of, yes, I want to be somewhat hands off to some degree, but what that minimum threshold is, like outside of the initial fee you guys are asking for to start in the community. Tyler, if that's his name, Tyler had said you have 4 1-to-ones, and then you have 2 more to spend at other times. Now you've spent, majority of those. So when would those be a strategic, recap to reconnect and say, hey, like, what do I do now? Because outside of monitoring Telegram or staying in tune with weekly calls and stuff, I guess, what is kind of that success pathway look like to either one, be, I don't know if it was one of the other guys was just asking to be totally removed from it and say, hey, I just don't want to deal with it in 12 to 18 months. I'll come back and we'll reevaluate. I don't know. I'm just curious because I think everyone's time, that's the most valuable asset we've got. And
Yeah, I have one of our guys that's like, man, I don't want to do anything if you're not here. So he paid for 6 months of one-on-one, and we gave him a much better deal than taking this and multiplying it by 6. So I mean, especially the guys that, I mean, if you come to our community, right, we built in incentivization for ourselves, because for the next leg of the mastermind, we appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. For the next leg of our mastermind, we want you to come and participate in other real estate deals and oil and gas and business mergers and acquisitions deals with us. And we can't do that if we haven't served you well. So there's that where we have built-in incentivization. And then, yeah, like your question said, most people use those couple of extra calls to exit the market, or if something full new pops up. That's a great way to use those. We also have a separate Telegram group where only me and my partner, me and Corey, can post in there, and that's our announcements group. So that's for our one-on-one guys that have no time, and we only post in there when something very critically important happens. That happens maybe twice a month, maybe every other month. It's very rare, but essentially just turn your notifications onto that. And if something pops up there, that's like, hey, pay attention, and you can reach back out if you need additional help. Or if you know what to do, then you can go ahead and do what you need to do. But those are the systems we have built in to make sure that even after your first 4 and your couple of 6, like, we've got a lot of resources to continue.
Okay.
And I like your skepticism. Once again, I think it's really healthy. This is not a place where I'd love to guarantee that everyone's gonna go make a ton of money. Like, that's just not how crypto works. But gosh, once again, as long as we've stayed within our buy box, we haven't bought anything that's gone to zero or been a scam. And one of the biggest things, I love that you brought up the strong nodes. You're gonna see this more and more and more. Crypto is not a place where you should ever give anyone your money to manage it. Almost all of those things are scams. Almost all of them. I'm telling you, I have never seen more pain in my life than all the calls that we do, where someone's like, oh, I gave these people my money to manage to do crypto, and they lose it every single time. And so crypto is a place that was invented for you to manage your own assets, for you to be in charge of them. And that's why, like, we don't want to take your crypto. We don't want to take a cut of it. We don't want to do any of that. It's meant for you to give your own ownership and be in control of it 100% of the time. And we want to teach you how to do that. The last thing that I'll leave you with is have you guys heard of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies? Yeah, you have? Oh my gosh, the storm is coming. I'm telling you.
What's that?
We're gonna put on our tinfoil hats here for a second. Central bank digital currencies. This is the craziest thing, as it sounds like pretty much everyone here has not heard of this. The United States had their first central bank digital currency launched last year in the summer. You haven't heard anything about it because it's not an opportune time for them to be able to come and market the thing. Essentially what it does is it's a currency that they control. The banks and the government, they're going to be able to say, hey, you bought too much meat this week, you can't buy any more meat, you can't use your money toward meat. Hey, we don't think you should buy any more gas. You have too big of a CO2 footprint this week. You probably need to buy an electric vehicle. That is coming. It's already in China. It's already in some European countries. The United States already has the infrastructure here. They will launch something like that. They'll market it really hard. When the economy turns and it goes really poorly, they'll say, hey, this is the way for us to bail everyone out. This is the way for us to save everybody. They're going to say that it's coming. And you either have the chance to be able to learn how these decentralized systems work, to be able to have freedom for your money, or you're going to be dragged along kicking and screaming using digital currency either way, because that's where everything's going. you'll be a slave to this system. You get to choose. Now's the time.
And what was it called again?
The central bank digital currency.
Central Bank.
The system that they launched in the United States
You
is
saying
called
you've heard of that?
FedNow.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
World Economic Forum is, just,
It's terrifying,
you don't
Hello.
really wanna go down, but.
but it.
well, what he said.
I've heard
what he was talking about. But yeah.
Yeah,
It's terrifying.
it really is.
Yeah.
Because you think of, okay, how are the ways that I can create safety for what I've built? And there isn't,
Right.
like, so for rental properties, your tenants, they're all paying into a platform that goes into the bank, they don't come in and, is if it knows cash. Then what if they decide to do something, you can't pay your mortgages, you can't pay, I don't know, it all freaks me
Well,
out.
COVID was a great example. If you were in the wrong state during COVID and they gave all the renters a free pass, so you're fucked.
Yeah, they totally did.
Yeah, and you had nothing, there's nothing you could do about it.
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
And there's even rules still that if you have a government backed note, you have to give them an extra 30 days to be able to evict them, even if they haven't paid forever,
Right.
like.
Your eyes weren't opened after COVID
Right?
and what a scary situation we all are left in. I don't know what to do for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. So if you guys would like to get in contact, we'd love to help you. Like I said, our next accelerator is starting at the beginning of next month. We have a limited set of seats. I think we have another. I looked this morning. I think we have 6 more seats for next month. If you want to do that, or if you want to just jump in the mastermind, we'd love to talk about that with you as well. So take my phone number down. Let's do that. That'll be the best way. My phone number is 801-573-9770. Once again, 801-573-9770. My name is Dane. If you'll text me, in fact, I'll take this. Liz, oh, that's yours.
No,
Where's that
probably-
Liz at? I take that with
They're
me.
probably gonna be back there.
Probably over there.
And what's your last name again, Dane?
It's Bollwinkel, kind of like the moose. Bollwinkel.
It's funner to say Bollwinkle.
Yeah.
It is. In fact, like people were getting
Last name, Bond.
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 People are getting old enough that like I don't hear many Rocky and
No.
Bullwinkle jokes anymore. But people haven't seen it.
Dane, are you on Twitter, X, LinkedIn or X both?
Yep, absolutely. So you can find me on X. It's moneytalk_Dane. Yep. In fact, we do a YouTube show. We try to do it every weekday, where I talk about cryptocurrency. So you can tune in to that for free, which is fun. You text me, feel free to ask about the YouTube show. I'll send you the link. And yeah, I'm just here to help and have everybody take back some of your freedoms. So thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Sorry, Jeff.
He just jumped on.
Miscommunication. Appreciate you, buddy. Hey, see you, Colin. Go to bed. You're not getting up at 3.
No, I still am.
No, you still are. All right.
Sorry, I was so late, you guys. All right,
No
send me
worries.
that
You
recording.
texted me and you said something and I thought it was because you were watching it. So anyway, we'll get you
No.
some info.
Send me the recording. That's great.
All right, man.
All right,
See you.
thanks, guys. Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Darren? Nice to meet you, Darren.